FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro. FM 100.5 Smyrna, streaming worldwide on WGNSSports.com and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches since 1992. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. We'll talk to the coaches about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. Now from News Radio WGNS, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner.
Well, good morning and Merry Christmas. Hope you're doing well here on this Saturday. It's the last Saturday before the big holiday weekend. Of course, Christmas weekend coming up next week. Christmas Eve is on a week from tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So Christmas time is here, and the basketballs are bouncing high in high school gyms all across Rutherford County. We're going to be talking with boys basketball coaches this week as we kind of put a cap on the early season of high school basketball here with our boys coaches. And just a programming note, we will take a couple of weeks off for the holiday break. Now, many of the teams aren't taking off, but, between fitting in Christmas and then New Year's and then also adding into that trips sometimes all over the country and many here at home with tournaments and classics, it is a very busy time for the high school coaches and the players and the teams, and there's just no way to wrangle them during the holiday break. I had someone ask me this past week why it is that we take off. Well, number one, it's the holiday break. Coaches want to spend that time with their family, as much time as they possibly can, and asking them to come up during that time, it just doesn't seem right. But anyway, and I think there would be a rebellion here with staff if we did that. So anyway, that's a little explanation about that, but we will be back January 6th with girls coaches and catch up with them on what happened at Christmas, and we'll be looking ahead at the district by that point. So, wanted to give you an update on the scores from last night in high school basketball. Give you a quick look at the girls' scores from last night. Cookeville defeated Oakland 56-36. We were at Oakland last night. Oakland boys also fall to Cookeville 57-43. Oakland boys were down by 20 at one point in the contest, and then came back, got it to within, I guess, about 13. And then a couple of turnovers later, then we've got around the margin that it was. So tough loss there for Oakland at home. I said I was going to do girl scores, and then I started talking boys, didn't I? Columbia girls, a winner over Blackman, 58-33. Hendersonville, 48. Stewart's Creek, 44. Marshall County defeated Riverdale, 46-21. It was Summit edging Siegel, 47-46. Siegel girls have lost many of the games that they have lost have been such by razor-thin margins. I know that they lost to Shelbyville by a 1-point loss because that was a little work that I did ahead of time for Monday night's ball game, which is a rematch, that one being at Siegel. So when they have lost some games, they have been really, really close. Cane Ridge 53, Smyrna 42. Last night, it was Nolensville a winner over Laverne 64-29. Eagleville 57, Forest 32, and Jackson Christian over MTCS 68-60. And now to the boys. We gave you the Cookeville win over Oakland. Columbia defeats Blackman 37-25. That's I know that's a Blackman loss, but that's a grinder right there, isn't it? 62-58. Hendersonville edging Stewart's Creek. Marshall County defeats Riverdale 77-60. Siegel gets past Summit 61-57, and Cane Ridge over Smyrna 83-65. That game had some close moments, and then Cane Ridge was able to kind of push away there toward the end of that one. Undefeated Nolensville over Laverne 50-38. And it was Eagleville a winner over Forest 79-39. Jackson Christian downs MTCS 73-52. So a few more games here before Christmas and then the holiday break in terms of Christmas time. You may have some tournaments and things of that nature coming up this week before Christmas, and then after Christmas, tournaments and classics and things of that nature. We'll be talking with the boys' coaches about that schedule, where they are here in the season, and that's where we'll jump into that conversation here. We're going to have Danny take you through the first three interviews with Riverdale, Smyrna, and Blackman. Then John will be here for the middle leg, and I'll wrap us up here this morning on this final Coaches Show of 2023. You're listening to the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner from News Radio WGNS.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Finding that missing shin guard, remembering whether it's a home or away game, getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan. Oh, come on, ref! That's simple human sense.
Rayburn Insurance in Smyrna.
Come see me, Rick Hall, at Rayburn Insurance in downtown Smyrna today.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com. The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Little Caesars Pizza, with 4 Murfreesboro locations: Memorial Boulevard, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford Boulevard, and Old Fort Parkway. Get hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars. I'm Danny Brewer. I am extremely pleased to be joined by Riverdale basketball mogul Michael Voss. Mike Voss, how are you this morning, Coach?
I'm good, Danny. How you doing?
I'm doing quite well. You know, speaking of Warrior Drive and our Little Caesars, how's the delivery been going over there for the Warriors thus far this year?
It's been fun. You know, we sit there and we're struggling a little bit right now, trying to find our identity again because of the loss of EJ, but Gray and Rashad and Ryan have really stepped up into a real big leadership role, and they've been doing a really good job of pulling the guys together. And, you know, we're so close. Last night we get outscored 17 in the first quarter. We end up getting beat by 17 for the game, so we played the rest of the thing even, and we had 10 turnovers in the first quarter. It's just one of those things where it's been one thing has kind of got us the last couple of weeks, and once we kind of figure out and settle down, we're going to be okay. It's just a process that takes a little time.
You know, that was one of the points that I wanted to talk about this morning is injury creating opportunity, you know, because I know the kid who got hurt, good score, kind of the centerpiece of what you were doing offensively, but he may be not able to perform anymore, but the opportunity it creates for other kids.
No, it creates big opportunities for other kids. But one of the things that happens when you do that, you know, it's like I've talked with my guys about it. It's almost like a grieving process because somebody that you're counting on being there is not there anymore. And he, you know, like my point guard Rashad, him and EJ played together for like 7 years because they started at Hobgood together and they've come all the way up through here. And it's one of those things where when you've had that person beside you for that long, it takes a little bit of time to get adjusted to it. And you know, it sucks that you have to sit there and turn around and you know, you don't get real break. You have to sit there because of the nature of basketball and turn around and play again the next day. And it takes time to get through the process and time to get over it. And, one of the things, the first night that we played without him, it was against Smyrna, and we didn't handle a lot of things real well that night. But it's guys kind of getting through that process of, okay, we've got to figure this out without him. And as it's gone on, it's gotten a lot better. And like I said, we're real close to breaking through that wall. And I don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to happen sometime soon. But when it does, we'll be okay. Guys have just got to kind of figure it out, what to do on their own.
Now, you talk about establishing your identity. What kind of team identity would you like to see from this group, knowing the talent that you have? I
mean, the big thing we've got to be good defensively, and we, for the most part, have been okay defensively up until last night. We were not very good defensively at all. But we played a team last night that Marshall County is a very skilled team, and they're a real quick team, and they gave us some matchup problems with our bigs. We had to go with zone, and it just last night was the first night I thought, ooh, we need something else in, and so we went to zone, and settled down a little bit. But again, when you put yourself in a 17-point hole after one quarter, it's going to be real hard to win a game no matter what you do. But we've got to be great on the glass. We've got Gray, Ryan Evanston, Wayman West, Dantes Johnson. Those four guys can be pretty good rebounders, but they got to be real consistent on the glass for us, and dominate there. And once we start there, I think we can kind of settle ourselves down and figure everything else out.
Coach, I know that one of your strengths as a coach in my eyes is fundamentals. You preach fundamentals, you teach fundamentals. That's how you win basketball games. And the things you just talked about, defense and rebounding, I mean, that's two of the staples, right?
It is. No, it is. And then the third thing, one of the things we worked on all week in practice that I do think we did a better job of last night was finishing at the rim. We've been getting in, and we haven't necessarily been taking great shots. Those first, again, when you're talking about being without EJ, your offensive guy that you hadn't been the go-to guy for a year now. Those first couple of games without him, we didn't take very good shots at all. Like, we took some bad shots, and those bad shots were just like turnovers and leading to layups for the opposition. Whereas last night, I thought what led to layups for the opposition was those turnovers we had, but we took, for the most part, really good shots. And we worked all week on getting to the rim, getting our shoulders square, and just finishing at the rim. And we did a better job of that last night. We've still got more we can finish, but I saw progress that we got into the game, and I've seen progress every game. And like I said, there's a wall that you got to break through, and it's the hardest thing to do it initially, but once we do it, we're going to be fine.
Coach, when we talk about, the getting good shots and all that kind of stuff, is it tougher in today's climate? You've been in this game for a few years. Is it tougher in today's climate just because of the nature of the game and how it's played in the pros and in college and all that stuff? Is it tougher to get kids to understand what a good shot really is?
Yeah, no, it is, because of the way that the game's played now. What you see on TV, what you see on TV is what trickles down into us. And what you see on TV now is everybody wants to be Steph Curry. Everybody wants to shoot floaters and be the guy with the ball in their hands. And what we need is a lot of guys, those NBA guys. There's a ton of NBA guys that were their best player in high school, and now what they are is they shoot 3 shots a night, and their job is to go rebound and defend. And we need a ton of those guys for us to have a chance to win games and be good. And the thing about those guys in the NBA is if they're willing to do that, they'll have a place somewhere, because you've got to have the role players, and you've got to have guys that are willing to just step up and do the dirty things that you don't get glory for, that you don't get glamour for. But you got to have those things to win. And that's something like a guy like Gray Turek. Gray has taken he's taken 6 charges in the last 2 games. He's He's 6'5", 6'6", a decent shot blocker, but he's also willing to put his body on the line and sacrifice. And we got to have more plays like that.
That's understanding basketball. I mean, when you think about it, that's having a real basketball mentality.
No, it is like it's a basketball mentality. It's just understanding that there's a role for everybody, and the thing that you have to do is in your role is you got to be willing to accept your role, number one, and then once you know what your role is, like, you need to be willing to shine in it, no matter what it is. I played with a guy in high school, Sean Cole, who we were the number one ranked team in the state. We had a bunch of seniors. He was a year ahead of me, and they were good. They were real good. But Sean took maybe one shot a game. His job was to just defend and lock down the opponent's best player, and it didn't matter who it was. He embraced that role, and he scored 10 points for his high school career, but he probably played 28 minutes a game because he brought so much value to that end of it. And we need a bunch of guys like that, that just understand that, hey, like, I've got a role, and my role is to lock down guys, or, you know, we need guys to score. I thought last night Rashad, for the first time, he shot the ball well since, and, you know, it feels like really he shot the ball better last night than he has all year long, but he took better shots and he was on balance. And that's one of the things me and him have talked about a lot is when you shoot the ball on balance, like, he's been fine. His shots go in. It's when he gets off balance, which he's taken a lot of in the last couple of weeks. Those aren't the ones that are going. And last night he got his shoulder square. He finished. He made 3 threes because he didn't dribble them. He just caught. It was catch and shoot. Like, he kind of figured something out last night, and hopefully he can build on that to the next game.
Coach, how many seniors you got?
We got 4 with EJ. So there's Ryan Evanston, who came from football, who's only been with us a couple of weeks and is still kind of getting his legs underneath him. He ended up he fouled out last night, but I think he ended up playing 30 minutes out of the 32. You know, he's a real physical presence for us. Still getting his basketball legs under him, but he's a competitor, and he gets out there and he brings a lot of fire and energy that we need. And then you got Gray Turek, who's our center. He's been a guy, you know, I cut Gray when he was a freshman, and I talk about him all the time. I'm real proud of the progress he's made. Because he's a guy, when he was a freshman, I'll never forget it. I can show you where we were standing in the gym, because he wanted to try out when I told him he wasn't good enough to play right now. I wasn't gonna keep him because he had missed tryouts and was in PE, and all he's done is worked and gotten better, and now he's going to leave here basically as having started, hopefully 40-something games for us. And has had a real good career. And it's just a testament to how tough he is and how much he works. And then you got Rashad, who's our point guard, who's been our point guard for the last. He started at point for the last 2 years, and he's a guy that again, especially with the change in what we've done, is trying to refigure out his role. But he's always been a guy, and what's made Rashad really good is he finds ways to get everybody else involved. He's got over 200 assists for his career. He just knows how to distribute it to guys that are open, and with him, it's about making the right play, and he's for the most part done a really good job with that.
Coach, I know we got holidays coming up, Christmas. What's in the Christmas stocking? What's on the wish list for what do you want to see in the Riverdale Christmas stocking?
Well, we just need to find a way to break through the wall, which we've got 3 games this week. PCA on Monday, and then we're playing Maplewood Wednesday night and Forest on Thursday in our Adidas shootout. And I just it's an opportunity for us to get better, an opportunity for us to kind of grow a little bit as a team, and that's what we're going to need to do. And then we get out of town right after Christmas, we're going to a tournament in North Georgia. We're playing with a shot clock, so that's going to be a change for us. We're playing some pretty good competition down there, so I just want to see our guys get a little bit closer and a little bit better. And if we can do that with the way the district's kind of shaping up, like if we can just have a little momentum going into that, we'll have a chance to make a run, all right, and figure some things out by January and be a real tough out come tournament time.
Well, knowing you the way I know you, Coach, I'm sure you got the plan, and now they just got to execute it. Michael Voss, Riverdale boys basketball. If you want to see something good, get over there. Adidas tournament, right, Coach? Get on over there and see some good basketball this week at Riverdale High School. Appreciate your time, Coach. Wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate it, Danny. Thank you.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here and you are our neighbors. Foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutorepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
This Fanceroni pepperoni is fancy.
Am I fancy enough for the Fanceroni? I'm wearing cargo shorts.
But Tim, so am I.
Try the Fanceroni pepperoni with over 100 Old World pepperoni. Little Caesars changed the Hot and Ready Classic and added 33% more pepperoni, which makes it 133% better pizza than before. It's really good. Order a new classic online and use our convenient Pizza Portal pickup.
In Murfreesboro on Memorial, Warrior Drive, South Church, and Old Fort.
Pizza.
Parks Auction. We handle everything.
Whether you're buying or selling a home or whether you're buying or selling commercial property, the auction is just so much easier, quicker, smoother.
My wife and I sold our personal home. Parks Auctions helped us with that. The house brought about 20% more than we were going to ask for.
Visit our website at parksauction.com to learn more.
Hi there, 12.5 now, $15.
Stan Vaught and the Parks Auction team are proud supporters of local high school and MTSU sports.
30, 30, sold it to you.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name, but there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. I'm Danny Brewer. I'm very, very pleased to be joined by Smyrna Bulldog head coach Omar Smith this morning. Coach, how are we?
Pretty good. Just fighting through some sickness, but we're getting better each day.
Coach, well, I got some advice for the sickness, but I'll probably have to give that off air. But anyway, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the week that was for Smyrna High School. I know last night you played Cane Ridge. What did y'all do earlier in the week?
We went to Mount Juliet on Monday, and we played well for about 3 quarters, and then we kind of let off the gas, and they came back to bite us. Ended up losing by 1, I believe. Just kind of, fighting through some maturity issues. I think we kind of got to the point where some guys felt like we had arrived. We were 5-1, and I think, like I said, guys having to understand that, it's just the beginning of the season. And so, we're kind of fighting through that right now. So that kind of got us on Monday night up at Mount Juliet.
Coach, as far as like last night's game, I was there. That may have been a little bit of a factor last night's game too, because through 3 quarters, it was a pretty close, through 2.5 quarters anyway, real close game, 30-30 at one point in time. It kind of got away from you because maybe a little of that maturity stuff, kids understanding how to take care of the ball and get good shots and all that kind of stuff. What did you, I know you weren't there because of your illness, what did you hear about last night's game, or what are your thoughts on last night's game?
Well, I watched it. I watched the live stream of it, so I watched it as it was going on, which was very tough. There was a couple times I wanted to jump through the screen, but you hit the nail on the head. It was a lot of things that we've worked on, things that we've practiced, and you can see that kind of go out the window, kind of throwing the ball away when they were pressing us. The first quarter, press wasn't an issue, and then all of a sudden, the exact same press becomes an issue in the third quarter. And so, just learning to be consistent. I think that's our biggest thing is being consistent, doing something right over and over and over again. It's second nature.
Coach, let's talk for a minute about your guard play. You seem to be really strong guard play. You got lots of kids who can handle the ball pretty deadgum good.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We definitely have plenty of guards, which makes for, good competitive practices. They can get after each other. But the one thing that those guys all have to work on is rebounding. They have to understand that it's a physical game, and some of them don't necessarily want to get physical, and so we've been kind of pushing that lately on those guys and making them battle each other and get after each other in practice. But as far as ball handling and scoring, that group is very good at that.
So let's talk for a second about the ball handling. You got some kids who can flat dribble. I mean, they can handle the rock. but how about understanding the importance of maybe over dribbling and maybe ball circulation through passing a little bit more? You think that's important for you guys?
Absolutely. That's one of those things. Being able to handle the ball is obviously a blessing, but like you said, you look at it and it becomes a curse at the same time, because then we want to just dribble the ball, put on a dribbling exhibition, and getting those guys to understand that the ball moves a lot faster when you pass it. Guys are open. And it makes the defense have to work because you're passing basketball. And so, we're still pushing that as well. That's something we work on every single day. So I think once everybody really figures it out and understands it, it's going to be great. But, we're still trying to figure it out ourselves.
One of the things whenever I coach little kids basketball, trying to, implore this, I would ask them, I said, hey, look, who's the fastest kid? I would ask my team, hey, who's the fastest kid with the ball? And they'd say, oh, it's so-and-so. I said, okay, all right, we'll get the ball. And I said, so let's stand on the baseline here. All right, when I say go, you take off. And they would take off, and then I would throw the ball, and I'd say, okay, so how's the ball getting down the floor faster? And so that was just a little simple thing to kind of try to make that light bulb come on. But let's talk about McCarver now. That kid, he had a good game last night, 20-plus points. I'm not sure what his final total was, but McCarver, a kid that can make plays offense. Of course, you got a couple of McCarvers, but you know the one I'm talking about.
Yes. So Tyreek, he had 25 points last night. The kid can play. He can play multiple positions. He can play point guard. He can play shooting guard. Quick as lightning. People probably figured it out during football season. Once he figured that out, and he's a great athlete, and so you can see his athleticism start to take over in games, especially in crunch time. And so he's definitely a blessing to coach. Great kid, and he's going to be very special.
So, Coach, we've talked about your guard play, but it's also important post play. Not offensively as well as defensively. Talk about your post play and what you're trying to do there as far as incorporating some kids there.
Yeah. So we've got, our big post, Jordan Clay Joseph, who's about 6'6", 6'7". He's been battling injuries all year, so that's been, that's hurt us a little bit. And so Jaleel Beatty-Roberts has been playing in the post for us, even though he's naturally a guard. He's about 6'4", so he's been playing more in the post this year. Well, obviously he was out last night, so that really hurt us. So we had to go with C.J. Griffin, who's about 6'1", built like a defensive end, defensive tackle. So he gave us some good minutes last night. So that's just one of those things where we're having to understand that we're not very big. We're probably one of the smaller 4A teams around, but we have to, collectively become more and more physical and help each other out in that way.
Coach, so we've talked about offense, talked about your ball handling, talked about, you got a few kids who can shoot. What about defensively? What are you trying to get into these kids defensively as far as a defensive mindset?
The big thing, I think a lot of coaches will tell you the same thing, kids typically think of defense as a singular mindset of, oh, my guy didn't score, my guy didn't do this. But having them to understand that defense is a team thing. So, yes, you may stop your guy from scoring, but if you're not in help side, if you're not, boxing out, rebounding, then you're only doing part of the job. And so that's our big focus that we're trying to get these guys to understand.
So let's talk about the early schedule. I know you started 5-1, but you've played some pretty good competition. Last night was the Cane Ridge team. They maybe have not shot the ball well, but man, they're big. I mean, just across the board. I think at one time they had 6'7", 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", all on the floor at the same time. So talk about the early schedule and what you think that has done for the Bulldogs.
I think it's been, when I made the schedule, obviously our team looked a lot different. So I made it where I thought we could get some games in, games that may be pretty easy, then also get some games that are going to be very competitive and some games going to be really tough. And so I tried to find some balance in that schedule to get those guys ready, because I know once we get in district play, Laverne's going to be very tough, Cookville's going to be very tough, Stewart's Creek's always tough as well. So, just trying to prepare those guys, give them different looks, seeing different types of lineups, different sizes, different athleticism. And so I think that when we look up in January, we're going to realize that the schedule has paid off for us.
Coach, how many seniors you got?
I've got 3 seniors.
3 seniors. So pretty much a pretty young team overall.
Very, very, very much so. And out of those 3 seniors, none of them have really played a lot of varsity minutes. So I even think about those 3 guys, kind of like juniors more so than seniors, because they haven't gotten a lot of minutes as well. So very young, very, very young group.
Coach, you play a lot of kids. I know a lot of kids got on the floor last night. I mean, do you see that staying the same, or is now you're just trying to figure some things out by playing a lot of kids?
I think we're still trying to figure some things out. I think we'll probably, going forward, we'll probably still play around 9 to 10 guys, just because I really believe in our depth, and it gets harder as you get into those tough district games where, the game's close and it's not as easy to just sub guys in and out as easily. But like I said, I believe in our depth, and so I think we'll still play quite a few guys going forward.
Coach, when we think about the district season coming up, which you mentioned that starts January. Is that when you begin district play?
Yes, I think it's January the 12th maybe, or somewhere along those lines. That second week we're back.
So when we think about what you got coming up this week and for the holidays, what's Smyrna going to be? Christmas tournaments, anything like that?
Well, yeah, so we're going down to Fort Payne, Alabama on Wednesday. We're playing against the whole school, Fort Payne, who's 10-0 right now. So that'll be a tough test, 2-hour bus ride, get off the bus, check in the hotel, then go play a game. The next day we play against South Atlanta. It's funny, their head coach is actually one of my former assistants from when I was coaching at Rockville Middle. They're a very tough athletic team that went to the state quarterfinals in Georgia last year. So they'll be tough. And then we play against Boaz the last day. So they're a very scrappy bunch as well. So it's going to be a very competitive week for us, and then we'll take the following week off.
When you think about the trip, great opportunity for you, not only the competition you'll play, but maybe to bond as a team and come together?
Absolutely. I love these type of trips just for those guys to, get out of town, see something different, see some different teams. Like last year we went to Portland, we'll probably go bowling or something like that, just something fun. Enjoy each other and just be appreciative of what we've got as a team.
Coach, we certainly appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck. That's Omar Smith, Smyrna Bulldog basketball leader. We hope you get to feeling better, Coach, because you got a road trip, so you got to get better.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Happy holidays. Omar Smith, Smyrna Bulldogs. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, an independent agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance since 1973. Find out more at rayburn.net.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
I want expert advice on going 100% solar.
I want to go green without breaking the bank.
I want to meet my sustainability goals.
I want solar to be simple.
Done, 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 done.
I want to save the planet.
Little hero, let's start with one of MTE's solar programs first. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. What are some of the advantages that Carpets by Osborne has?
Being a family business and being locally owned and operated, we do free estimates. We have our own subcontractors that work for our business. We will come out, look at your floor covering. Throughout the whole process, you deal with an individual. You're not passed off to different contractors. We handle it from start to finish.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
Whether you're a student, alumni, or just a fan, Raider Tees has exactly what you need to help you cheer on the Blue Raiders on game days and every moment in between. We sell officially licensed Blue Raider gear, whether it's clothing, hats, flags, chairs, or just whatever. We have it all, including exclusive gear you won't find anywhere else. Like us on Facebook for updates on new Blue Raider gear and special prices or discounts. For all your Blue Raider gear, shop Raider Tees today. Bigger, better, and go blue!
Sir Pizza. You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carry-out or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu, and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car. Professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com. I'm Danny Brewer. I'm going to go buy me a lottery ticket because right now I'm in the studio with Barry Wertman. I'm telling you what, I think that this is like the pinnacle of high school basketball coaches. I think you may be the dean of Rutherford County basketball coaches here in Rutherford, here. Is that true? Have you been at Blackman longer than any other coach, head coach in Rutherford County? I think so, right, Coach?
I don't know about that, Danny. About right now, all we get is calls people wanting to play us. So I think everybody's fine in Rutherford County, in Tennessee.
So if we talk about last night's game for just a quick moment here, Coach, didn't go the way you wanted it to. 37-25, Columbia beat you guys. We had talked earlier in the year about offense and Blackman and it maybe not going as well as far as biscuit in the basket. A little struggles for you guys, right?
Well, I thought we had a nice week, 1-1, played really well against Stewart's Creek, scored it different ways, got it in the goal, around the goal, got to the foul line, made shots. So I thought we were really pretty efficient offensively against Stewart's Creek. We've been in lulls a little bit all year in regards to having segments of the game where we have trouble scoring, but last night we were playing a little bit left-handed in regards to some combinations on the floor because of foul trouble or whatnot. So we just had to sort of survive a little bit, and I thought I was really proud of our guys. Really fought the good fight in regards to just competing and trying to play the game on the game's terms and the situation, and got a lot of guys playing maybe a little bit out of position, and it would have been really fun and cool to win that, but we put ourselves in position to win it 24-20 with like 3:50 to go. And so even though things didn't go our way, we really fought and competed and battled, and that, in a strange way, it was sort of fun, to see guys really locked in and trying to find a way to win. So it was a good week. Obviously a little bit of trouble scoring, but did a lot of good things this week as well.
When you talk about the season and what it is, of course, this is before district play, the growth, that's what you want to see. And last year's team was fantastic as far as the growth you had from beginning of the year to end of the year. Where's your team at right now as far as understanding that growth? I mean, these kids should understand because you got most of the kids back from last year, right?
Yeah, we had a really nice summer. I mean, a really nice summer and a nice fall in our skill development program and our weight program. So we made nice strides from last year. So we got a team that's grown, and we got guys that know their role, and I just sort of like our team. We're not playing great basketball right now, but in some ways, actually, in a lot of ways, we are playing good basketball. But offensively, it's hard to really look good when you're not scoring it. So, but we're doing a lot of nice things. I have not graded the tape of this game last night, but I was there in real time, and I know how hard we try to compete, and guys tried to really try to find a way to win, and was collectively together. So, again, you asked me a question about growth. Our team has grown. Some guys from our developmental team last year have impacted last night's game in a big way. So, a lot of good. And again, to me, I thought it was fun to find a way to be in that game. Actually went up one with about 2 minutes to go in the third, and just a lot of teams couldn't do that. A lot of teams would have yielded, got beat 25 or 30, and we didn't do that. So like I say, a lot of pride in our program, a lot of pride in our team, and wish we could have maybe played a little bit better and shot a little bit better. But those things will come because we got nice players and we got a good squad.
One of the things that I'm getting from this, I wasn't at the game last night, but toughness. And that's one of the things that you have to have if you're going to advance as the season moves forward. But you like the toughness of this team.
I do. We really challenged our guys the last 3 or 4 days in practice. We're not a real physical team, but we are a tough team. And I challenge to be more physical and get physicality from the practice floor to the game floor. And I know we tried to do that. We played against a team that had nice physicality. And they exposed us a little bit, especially on the offensive glass. But we did. We've done some nice things in that regard.
One of the things that if you watch Blackman basketball, and if you have watched Blackman basketball, one of the things that I've taken from this is, and this is something Coach Voss and I talked about, the definition of a good shot. Shot selection, I think, in today's basketball world is kind of one of those things where there's huge question marks with some teams especially. Your teams always seem to get good shots. You may not always make them, but you get good shots. I've mentioned this on the radio show before. Denny Crum years ago told me the key to John Wooden's success, shot selection. Coach Wooden preached, we're going to get good shots. Talk about good shot selection and getting good shots and your mentality there.
Well, there's a lot of ways to play offensively, and most people play offensively based on their personnel. So teams are going to play differently, in regards to how you play. I think good offense is sort of KYG, know your game. It's nice to have 3 and 4 guys that can go get their own shot, guys that can score the ball with the ball in their hand, without the ball, but that's not always the case. So sometimes you got to manufacture and execute and make sure that we in James Polite, we had one of the best offensive rebounders that I've ever coached. He has had a knack for, first he was really athletic, could rebound out of his area, but he had a hard time getting it back in the goal. He sort of, even though he was a great leaper, the ball got caught around his waist, and he just had a lot of hard time getting offensive rebounds back in the goal. So he got really good if he couldn't just bounce back and stick in the goal of pivoting, and guys knew that he was going to kick it out. And typically when you have a defensive rebound, everybody's sort of around the goal, and we would just space, and he would kick it out, and you'd get some of your best shots you could ever get on an offensive rebound kick out. So we've named that a James Polite. We name a lot of the things out of former players in our program that they did well. So our guys just know what a James Polite is. That's out of respect for a great player in our program. But just things like that. It's KYG, knowing your game. You can get guys know their game. My mom, when I played, she wanted me to score, but I wasn't a scorer. I post feed a little bit and, take care of the ball. And we've always sort of wanted guys to, the more guys you got that can score it with the ball in their hand, man, you're going to be a better offensive basketball team. But that's not always the case. So sometimes you got to execute and run offense to get best players opportunities to score. And that's where most high school teams are, and that's it's going to be interesting with the shot clock. 30, 35 seconds is a long time. It's plenty of times to score and get a good shot. But execution is always the key, in my opinion, and I think we've done a good job of that. And this team really tries to execute. So we got to cut a little bit harder, and we got to pass and catch a little bit better. But I like where our team is in terms of getting good shots.
Coach, what you got coming up? Got the holidays coming up. What you got coming up this week?
Yeah, I love this time of year. Our teams have always grown. After Christmas, we're at Father Ryan. We've been to that tournament like 7 of the last 10 years. Real good field as always. And then we very excited about our Outback Classic we've had here. This is year 9. We have a great field. Nolensville's coming in. Coffee County's coming in. We have 2 great games. Play the new high school out of Clarksville, Kirkwood. That's got probably the best team we've played yet. And then Shelbyville's coming in. So it's a great field on the 20th and 21st. And it's always been a fun time for both our parents, people in town, and our basketball team.
Coach, that's a lot of excitement, right? I mean, when you think about tournament basketball, because it's like tournament basketball before tournament basketball. So Christmas time can be good in that aspect.
It really is. And, it's been an important time for us to sort of identify who we are and grow our team. And we try to be right here in town or Nashville where we can come back. We practice a lot, and we use that time. I think those 2 weeks, kids aren't in school. And, man, our team has really grown and taken shape over this time of year, and roles really get defined. And you can sort of come out of that sort of saying, okay, this is who we are, and this is how we're going to have to skin the cat in regards to league play. So big time, not only for the guys who get to play a lot of basketball and back-to-back nights, but also, you come out in January and you're sort of who you are for the most part, and 6 weeks left. So identifying your team, and that's what we're going to try to do this Christmas.
Coach, we talk about skinning the cat. Let's talk about cashing a ticket. You're my thoroughbred racing guy. We love the game. The Los Al Futurity, I think how that kind of is a mirror of your team. It's young. It's about youth. It's about 2-year-olds. You got a younger team. They've grown some. The Los Al Futurity, who's you're picking at $200,000 race at Los Al today for 2-year-olds? Who you like there?
I tell you, I like Ace of Clubs.
Ace of Clubs. Doug O'Neill trained. Doug O'Neill's my boy. I love Doug O'Neill. There's a horse in that race that I like that kind of reminds me of you, Coach Prime. He won by 7 3/4 lengths last out. Bob Baffert trained, but Coach Prime, that's all you, Coach Prime. We also got the Tinsel Stakes going at Oaklawn Park. That's for older horses, 1 1/8 on the dirt track. Who you like in the Tinsel Stakes, Coach?
Well, I talked to you before we came in, and that's a good race. Some veteran horses. I like Bees Tonight.
There you go. Yeah, he's a good horse. And there's one of the ones, Double Crown. That's one that reminds me of you, too, because, how many times have you been wearing the crown as far as district champ and all that kind of stuff? Double Crown, he's a little bit longer shot. Maybe War Campaign, that's another one. Strong Quality. There's all kind of horses in here that remind me of you and what Blackman basketball does. Barry Wertman, man, you've done such a fantastic job at Blackman. It's going to continue. We know that for sure. Exciting times ahead for the Blaze. The tournament coming up over there. Get over there and see them. Coach, we appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck.
Danny, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. So the Coaches Show is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity online at mte.com. John Dinkins is coming up.
Craig's Tax Service at 42 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
Franklin's Printworks has been in Murfreesboro for over 25 years. We are a full-service commercial printer, everything from business cards, brochures, booklets, to banners. My name is Jeff Carlton. I handle sales and marketing for Franklin's Printworks. We hear a lot people who have been working with printers on the internet, had issues, and they know that if we're working with someone local, that A, they know where to find us, and B, they know that we'll take care of it because we have to take care of our neighbors. Our website is franklinsprinting.org.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're catching up with Anne-Marie Brents at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, another one of our great local businesses.
Yeah, it's a big family business. Knowing that my grandparents started it, to see it evolve and what it is now, it's just been really cool, and I love it. It's just something I'm very passionate about, and customers have been great to us as well.
Whether it's a quick meal, feeding the whole family, or catering, Rick's Barbecue can handle it all.
It's really something I'm really passionate about, very blessed and thankful for.
Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
It's not just a home or a car. I'm State Farm Agent Dana Womack. We see your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Give me a call at 615-900-0877 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
Renters, when you combine State Farm auto and renter's insurance, you save an average of $642. I'm State Farm Agent Emerson Williams, and I'm ready to help you combine auto and renter's insurance and save. Call me at 615-459-2683.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
Show brought to you by Carpets by Osborne, who would love to help you complete any job, whether residential or commercial. Carpet, tile, hardwood, vinyl, rugs, and more. Locally owned, online at carpetsbyosborne.com. And joining me here, John Dinkins here. Joining me is Coach Tony Rutland, the head coach of the Laverne Wolverines. And a lot to talk about. We got a lot of things heading ahead here as we approach the Christmas holidays. And Coach, 10-3 at this point, I would say you would have to be rather pleased.
I'm very pleased. We got hit with last night with the flu bomb, but overall, I woke up this morning and very pleased of how the guys came. I know the outcome is not what we wanted it, but I think the game was a lot closer than the score told. We had an opportunity to tie the game. Some decisions that we made that caused us to not tie the game or maybe take the lead, and a couple of turnovers and not being able to rebound last night. But again, I give the guys credit. Some guys stepped up, but I think it was a learning experience. Hey, you never know. Later on in the season, somebody might foul out like we had against Columbia Central, or later on somebody, God forbid, get injured and somebody else has to step up. So I think the experience was good. Nolensville is a great team. Different style that we've seen thus far. So it was definitely a good experience for the guys.
Going back to the 8th of December when you were playing Antioch, and I'm looking at your scores, and let's talk about your defense a little bit, because it seems like you're holding people with either 50 or lower or somewhere in that area.
Yeah, and it's not as great as we want it to be. We try to compare our defense to how it was towards the end of the year last year. We played Siegel and we changed the defense. We went back to basics, and this year we're there, but we're not there. I'm not happy, overall pleased, but we see spurts. When we played Antioch, I think we were down 2 in the first quarter. In the second quarter, we held them to 5 points. In the third, we held them to 5 points. So it was a good adjustment on the guys, and we were able to hold them to 10 points in 2 quarters, and we were able to just control the tempo and score.
Antioch and the win over Columbia, another really good team, and won that. That was a close one for you.
It was. I mean, we were up 23 at one point in time in the second quarter. And, they're at home and they started hitting a couple of shots. I think we were up 13 at half. Again, through adversity, whether it's referees, whether it's, teams making runs, the game of basketball is made of runs. They made a run. It seemed like we couldn't get our offense going. We couldn't stop nobody. We had to adjust our game based on how the game was being called. And again, Landon Bryant fouled out, which, in the fourth quarter, I thought was going to hurt us. But again, we found a way to win. Guys stepped up. Zai, Lenore had a great game that game. And Dante White had a great, half. So it was good. Again, our schedule has helped us prepare for the second half of the season, which is why I always schedule the way I do.
Yeah, it is. It is a tough schedule, and the game last night, Nolensville, really, really good. Again, you held them though to around that 50 mark,
Yeah.
and so I know you've got to be pleased with that. And I think people somewhat, Coach, underestimate defense so much. I mean, I know everybody likes to see scoring, but the old saying, defense wins championships. Well, that applies in basketball as well.
It does, and the crazy part about it is last night, realized that they averaged over 70 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
We held them to 50. We started fouling at the end, of course, to try, put them on the line. But we gave them so many second chance points. It was tough. I think it could have been lower. But again, I think the guys they will buy in. Start of over Christmas break. We have a tough Franklin team on Monday, and then we're off until we go to Father Ryan. But it's going to be another test. They're real disciplined. They run their offense, and again, we want to play a tough schedule because I know the district is going to be tough, and then it'll lead all the way into the region. So I think we did a good job with our record this year. So I'm very, very pleased of how things went.
When you have a game where the flu hits, and really we talked out front that if you're going to have the flu hit, this is probably the best time to do that before you get into district play. What adjustments do the guys have to make? I know you're gonna call on some people to change their roles,
Yep.
And that can be difficult at times, but. If that continues for the next couple of games, it doesn't take long for them to kind of adapt, I don't think.
Yeah, no, like last night we was able to see some things, make some adjustments, have like Landon Bryant, which I think if he wants to go to a high D1 school, we'll have to change and maybe be a combo guard. He did that pretty good last night, controlling the offense a little bit. We'll rely on other guys like Cam Samuels to bring the ball up. He's an undersized big, but he has quick enough where he can handle the rock. So again, we just adjust. One thing about my guys, I'm really pleased at is adjusting on the fly, and just playing through it.
Mm-hmm. And I guess you kind of have to, almost like when the flu hits, stay away, take a couple of days away from each other. Is that the plan, kind of?
It is. So hopefully on Monday we'll have everybody back. I'm sure not at 100%, but, once they come back, give them some time off, enjoy the holidays, and then, hopefully they'll hydrate, get their energy back, and then come back for a tough Father Ryan Christmas tournament, and then turn around and then almost get into the district play.
I'll get off the flu in a minute, but I just think it's always funny that basketball is about the only sport that gets hit with that kind of situation, and it hits somebody and maybe more than just one team during the course of that 3-month period here.
It does. You look at you look on Twitter and you look at other things, you see teams kind of postponing or canceling or forfeiting because of illness or shutting down. You go back to COVID, it was basketball season, nobody's in the gym wearing masks. But at the end of the day, I tell the guys, the athletes, you have to make sure you take care of your body. I know that you want to be around a lot of people, but, again, you're playing games, other people are being around other people, and that's how it spreads.
Yeah.
So, we'll disinfect the locker room, and hopefully the guys will stay healthy, and we'll move into the season after a break healthy.
I know at 10-3, it's you've accomplished the first half and done it successfully. Now we go into that. We're getting close to that second phase where we get into district play, and you want everybody healthy. But tell us a little bit about this Willie Brown Memorial Classic. I know Willie was a great player, and I think that's wonderful that they're honoring him. And that starts December 27th. Tell us a little bit about that tournament.
You know, ever since I've been coaching at Laverne, we've been a part of it. The history that's been involved with, that tournament is wonderful. I'm not from here, so just to know and be a part of it is wonderful. But the competition is great. If you want to get a good tournament in before your district, they do a great job of getting some of the top teams in there to prepare you for the season. 3 days, again, we went to Arkansas and played 3 days. So if you're not conditioned, if you're not taking care of your body over the holidays and doing something, it can get to you, but also help you going into the season because you're playing 3 days. You get winded, endurance. So I love it. I love the history of it, and it's never let us down.
And you have traveled, and you have done things and gone out to places in the past as well. And that's a really good bonding kind of situation for the guys too, isn't it? I mean, just to face a different place, a different environment.
Even just coming from personal experience, being in college, being on road trips, it brought us together. Whether it's dinner, team bonding, outings. For some reason, teams. I always tell the guys, great teams can win on the road.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on the road, it's just you against everybody. And so when you can stick together, come together, you feel the brotherhood, family, you tend to play for each other. And that's why I love going on the road, so we could have that bonding experience.
So take me to we've got the Christmas break, so they'll have a few days at Christmas, and maybe but it starts on the 27th. You'll be right back right after Christmas, and I guess you'll do a little bit of practicing in between there.
Yeah, we'll give off, and then we might practice a little bit before, but again, I'm big on family time as well. As athletes, you always try to spend as much time with your family as much as possible. So after the Christmas holidays, we're right there at Father Ryan. And then we have, I think, Blackman and Boyd Christian. And then we're right into the district. I think Wilson Central is our first game. So it's not too far after the New Year where we get going.
I was looking at the guys that you've mentioned too, Tony, Lenore, Bryant. They seem to be up there every night in the scoring department. So you those are two guys you can kind of depend on.
Yeah, I definitely do. I think Zai has been, doing a wonderful job leading our team. Landon has been doing great, being a leader as well and scoring. And Dante is definitely, reaping the benefits of them getting all the attention, and he's able to, help us down low.
Well, we hope that you have a great Christmas. You got all your Christmas shopping done?
Online.
That's the going thing now, isn't it?
Yeah, go online.
And where's that with the Willie Brown? Where does that take place?
That's at Father Ryan.
Father Ryan.
Yep,
okay.
Father Ryan.
So if you want to go see some good basketball, and it's close. It's not that far to drive.
Not that far.
So it's a good tournament to be at.
It is.
Coach, appreciate you being in today, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. We'll talk to you. Well, not really. It'd be more like 3 weeks, 4
That's
weeks.
Fine.
Yeah, but we're going to take off too.
All right, okay.
That's Coach Tony Rutland, the head coach of Laverne Wolverines. They're off to a great start, 10-3 on the year, and they'll be in that Willie Brown Classic. And you play at Hillsboro. What is Monday? Franklin.
Franklin High.
Franklin.
Yes.
Okay, that's going to be kind of a tough one too.
Yes, it is.
All right, we're going to continue this portion of the show. Brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the best smoked barbecue ribs and many local favorites on Warrior Drive. Locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family. When we come back, we'll be talking Oakland basketball here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
Hello, my name is Colleen Clary, a mortgage loan officer with F&B Mortgage, a division of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. Here at F&B Mortgage, we are dedicated to serving you and our community. We understand the challenges that are faced in today's economy when purchasing a home, and we are here to help guide you through the process every step of the way. Contact me today or visit our website at fnbmt.com. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 401715.
Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. I've lived and worked as a lawyer in Middle Tennessee for over 30 years, and to me, every single day has been an honor. That's why our firm is so involved with community programs like bicycle helmet giveaways and our Safe Ride Home program. At the Law Offices of John Day, we're not just looking to make donations. We want to make a difference in the community we hold so dear. And if you're ever injured, know that we are here for you too.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
Whether you have a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply has premium feeds and dog foods you can't find in box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Plus, every Saturday morning they have a local producer-only farmers market with fresh vegetables, beef, pork, and more.
Customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com. The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the show is brought to you by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to the First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgage services. And John Dingen's back with you, and we have Dyron Birdwell, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots. And Dyron, we were at your game last night, and I always enjoy it, and great atmosphere. Last night, I saw a team that just, if you talk about playing in spurts, that was the epitome of a game. Yeah. Because had the turnover bug last night early.
Yeah, we struggled a little bit here recently, and pregame our talk was a lot on effort and attitude. Making sure you're sprinting, going hard, and making sure that you're, rebounding and playing with effort and not, doing things that are detrimental to either yourself or your teammates. And then when you're not used to playing as hard as we forced you or wanting you to do last night, you kind of have some mental errors, and turnovers were big. Last night I felt like we, missing 2 guards off the bench with sickness hurt us, and, just kind of got sped up at a couple spots, and credit to our guys for battling back after being down, I guess around 20 at one point, or maybe it was 20 to cut it to 7 last night. But definitely when you turn it over like that, it's going to be hard to win a game. And it's really strange because when you cut it to 7, you had a turnover,
And I looked at Brian and we're going, okay, this is the game. This is really, because you had a chance to cut it to 5, and I think you cut it to 5. This game's going to be really, really close.
Yeah, I thought that was a big possession. We got a stop down on the other end, got the ball and had a chance, and then just not necessarily an effort mistake, but just a mental error, I guess. Trying to make too much happen or get off balance, and then you turn it over and you need to look up, and they obviously get a leak out layup after your turnover, and they go up 9, and it's one of those, then you really got to have a bucket, and I think we turned it over again, and then play the foul game. But we've got to have better play offensively. I loved our effort defensively last night.
And Cookville's really talented. I mean, that was a great defensive effort, I thought.
Oh yeah, I would say that them and Laverne are probably the two teams that a lot of people would, on paper, I guess, pick to win that other side of our region this year. And that, I was proud of how we competed, and, credit to Cookville. They definitely forced us into mistakes and spread you out, shoot it well. And, we turned it over a time or two against their half-court trap there, but we've just got to keep growing. I was talking to Coach out there, and we're at December 16th right now, and I think, not counting injuries, just counting either, football guys or guys that should be healthy, but have been sick. I think we've had one practice this year where we've had everybody together.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, but the flu and sickness has really hit everybody in the county, it seems like, and you had two of your better shooters go down with the flu.
Yeah, Josiah Cobb, Josh Wiley were both out last night, which hurts us depth wise, considering we've already lost Chase Bandy for the year with a with the arm injury had against Bradley in the football game, and then Matthew Moore got hurt against Independence in football. So now you're down 4 guards, and then Malcolm Ashley's been dealing with an ankle all year and hadn't really played except for a little bit the first game against Tullahoma. So we're young in spots, and in the spots we aren't young, we're inexperienced, and we got to be ready to practice and practice with the same effort that we gave last night every day. And if we've got everybody there and be able to compete against each other, I think we can make some strides between now and that first district game at Rockville on January 9th.
And we talk about football players all the time, and Oakland. It's a great thing, but it's also it can be a curse, I guess. But it does affect the early going and the early practices because you don't have them there.
Yeah, it does, and it's one of those things where when you sign up at Oakland, you're going to have to deal with it about every year right now, especially with the program Coach Creasy's got going, and it can be a good thing because those kids are winners, and they understand the culture of winning and what it takes to win, and that they definitely help us with some of those things. But there's definitely an adjustment between being on the football field compared to being on the basketball court, and our goal right now is to take every day to get better. Last night I told them that after the game, you're disappointed, you lose, and I want us to always feel disappointment. But I felt like last night we got better, and that was something in the last couple games that I was not able to say, and so that's something that could be a positive. It could be something to build on moving forward, especially as we go into pre-Christmas here at Gallatin and then post-Christmas down at Page.
We're talking to Byron Birdwell, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots, here on the Prentice Salsop Heat and Air Coach's Corner. I want to mention Avery Carter kind of running things last night a little bit, and I thought they did a really good job on Haggard to keep him denying him the ball. It wasn't he had a bad game. They just couldn't get the ball to him.
Yeah, Cookville runs a good little matchup zone. They kind of spread you out and they almost make you play one-on-one. They'll help, and they do a great job of bumping each other off, but they're so spread out that it's hard to drive and kick. And then they shoot it so well. If you start trading 2s for 3s, you're going to look up and feel like you're playing pretty well, and you're in a hole. They definitely guarded Haggard well, our freshman. And you know, some of that's Bryant's young. He's got to learn how to play without the ball a little bit and how to get open. And Avery definitely played well. You know, there's times that I would like for him to get, you know, his teammates a little more involved, but he can definitely, you know, he has a unique skill set. He drives it to the rim well. He's good from 15 feet and in. He can find the open guy. I thought he kind of sparked us last night to get us back in the game. Him and Jaden Loper as well. But you know, we're going to need those guys. We're going to need them to step up. And as two seniors, you know, that's part of their role, and it's a role they've never had. You know, they've always either been spot minute guys or role player guys, and now, you know, their role is they got to help lead us to victory. And that doesn't always mean scoring. Last night it did, but sometimes that means, you know, getting other guys open for shots or defending, rebounding, and that's the big thing right now with our guys is, you know, understanding your role, understanding what the team needs you to do, and playing your role to an extremely high level.
I think you make a good point there when you talk about Avery was in a spot role last year. So even though some of them are juniors and that kind of thing, and a senior or two, you lost a lot of guys last year, and really a couple of really good inside players too, and they're having to adjust as well to their new situation as well, because you've got about 4 spots where, you know, you're having to fill there.
Yeah, for sure. We we lost 4 starters off of last year's team, everybody but Bronson Crisp, and then lost our 6th man as well. So there's definitely spots where we've got to learn how to play, how to get, you know, make reads. And we had a really good freshman team last year. I think we went 14-2, 15-2, something like that. And you know, one of, you know, Matthew Moore we talked about earlier is hurt, which could help us at the point guard spot. And then 2 of the other starters from that team last night were hurt, and then a couple others played kind of spot minutes right now in a role that maybe they're not either ready for or that they're hoping to get ready for. And Chris Montalegre and Lane Veron, and you know, Lane hit a big shot last night from the corner, and you know, that'll only help us as we move forward, getting some of these young guys some more minutes and continuing to play and execute at a high level. But it does hurt a little bit at times right now when we're kind of forcing kids into playing roles when they might not be ready to play those yet, but hoping that, you know, maybe come January, February, now that they're having to play right now, that they will be ready to go. And
that's the good thing about kind of the pre-district schedule. I mean, you've got chances to work out some of those kinks, but mainly I think you got to get some kids healthy.
Yeah, for sure. You know, if we can, you know, get our two guards back from sickness will definitely help us. And then, you know, Malcolm Ashley, who played a lot last year for us, his ankle thing has been kind of lingering on, and we kind of shut him down at the beginning of the year to try to get him healthy and see when he's got confidence in his ankle, because, you know, I've got confidence in him when he's healthy, but if he's kind of limping around or he doesn't have confidence in himself, then he's not going to help us a ton. And I'm hoping that we can, you know, like you said, get healthy and kind of figure out who we are defensively and figure out our roles, and then, you know, offensively we can attack and find guys to play their roles. You know, I think we've got some good drivers on the team. I think we've got some decent post guys. I think we've got some pretty good shooters. But right now, you know, when you don't have shooters, that means that are both sick last night, that means that somebody's having to play kind of out of their role and, you know, make plays that they shouldn't have to make. And then, you know, guys that are, you know, shooters or that are early in the year without our football guys are having to create and do a little more than they probably need to. So, but again, all that's going to do is make us better, and hopefully, you know, these kind of bumps in the road will help us come January when we're getting ready to play district play and you know, region play, and continue to get better and play our best basketball come tournament time.
Well, tell us quickly what you've got coming up. I think you play at Gallatin on the 20th.
Yep, we're at Gallatin on the 20th at 7:30. Good team. You know, you're always going to have a good defensive, you know, battle with Coach Luna up there. We've got Hendersonville, which I know played Stewart's Creek last night, the following day at 3 o'clock. And then we'll take a couple days off for Christmas, and then after Christmas we go to Page and play a really good Clarksville Academy team, and then we play Loretto after that. And then the new year, and then I think we've got Beach that Friday right before district play starts. But definitely looking forward to it, looking forward to the opportunity, looking forward to practice, the next couple of days and seeing if we can take the baby steps we did last night and keep getting better.
Well, have a good Christmas.
Yes.
I know everybody looks forward to it. Have you done your Christmas shopping?
We've got some of it done. We've got to go do a little bit, I think, today, and I've got to finish it up. But
You've got the missus something though,
yeah,
right?
we've got Kara and Jayla are taken care of for sure. It's just got to finish out the rest of the family, I guess.
I get such a kick going to Oakland to see that little one. She's the Oakland #1 cheerleader, isn't she?
She is. She's a mess, but
I think you got somebody's. Is mom and dad, or I think
my mom and dad are over there.
So they're enjoying those games, I'm sure too.
Oh yeah, they come to see Jayla, and I guess there's a basketball game going on now. So it's
yeah, I don't know if everybody's enjoying the game at certain times, but anyway, it's good to see them, and good to see you today. And we're going to see you sometime after Christmas.
Yes,
okay?
sir. Sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right, that's Darren Birdwell, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots. This portion of the show brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. You can find out more at TOA.com. Stewart's Creek basketball coming up next.
Market declines, unemployment, oil prices. Don't let headlines derail your long-term financial strategy. I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin. I'll work with you to help you understand the impact of short-term events and how to be positioned for the long term. We provide the tools for a disciplined approach to investing. Call 615-907-7056 for an opportunity to discuss your situation. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
When Rutherford Countyans think of insurance professionals, they think Rayburn Insurance Agency at 200 South Lowry in Smyrna, meeting the needs of thousands of customers since 1973. You can trust Rayburn Insurance with all your needs, a place where customer service really matters. It's personal with Rayburn Insurance, as fans of local sports, as friends, and as insurance professionals. Check them out at rayburn.net or call 615-459-4145. Rayburn Insurance, for business, auto, home, and life insurance.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner is presented by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air. That's right. Family owned and operated since 1977. You can get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com. And I want to, before we talk to Coach here, hope Kathy gets better. That's a sister of Trey's, and she's been in the hospital, and she's doing better, and so we're grateful for that. All right. Now we're back to basketball. Matt Bradshaw, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks, is with us, and John Dinkins here with you for 3 of 4. I'm almost done. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Good. We got an opportunity to see you guys at Blackman the other night, and yes, it's been a kind of a rough 3 games here in the last 3 game stretch. You're 4-6. Is that right on the year?
Yes, sir.
But I see some good things. So tell us a little bit. I'm not aware of and then a loss to Hendersonville, but you guys are playing pretty well. I just think you'd want them to be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, shooting the basketball needs to be a lot more consistent. We kind of seem to go through some stretches the last couple of games where we've played well, but we always kind of we manage to have a quarter, sometimes a half, of where we just shoot the basketball extremely poorly. Percentage is just, not really good, and we struggle to make some shots at times, last night we struggled to knock some threes down. They played us a little 1-3-1 zone, and we had a lot of great looks, and we managed to make just 3 all night. And we battled and scrapped, and fought on the offensive glass, and had it cut to 2 with about 18 seconds, and just couldn't pull it out. Kind of similar stuff at Blackman. We kind of cut it there. Both instances. We kind of dug ourselves in a hole a little bit in the first half. Battled back in the second half. Did a good job in both those games as far as competing and doing things it takes to get out of the deficit. But we seem to manage to have some, just some issues struggling putting the ball in the basket, and I think one statement I've made to my kids a lot of times, because then some mistakes start showing up on the defensive end. I said, guys, made shots make a lot of mistakes go away. And, that's true, because you don't really focus on sometimes when the ball's going in the bucket, certain mistakes kind of get overlooked. Plays are being made on the other end of the floor, and those kind of things counterbalance themselves. But when you're struggling putting the ball in the basket and you're struggling finishing around the rim, all of a sudden little defensive mistakes start adding up, and that's kind of what both mirror images of the Blackman game and the Hendersonville game both kind of showed themselves in the last week probably.
Yeah, I think if you were we talk about spurts, and you would get down at Blackman, then you'd come back, have a lead even, and then have another little spell. How is it? And I'm going to ask maybe you a question that coaches have been asked. I get how do you get out of that? Is it decisions? Is it making the right decisions before you take a shot? What kind of is the cause of that? Because I know you got some shooters.
Yeah. Basically, we have a lot of inexperience. Mm-hmm. So sometimes game experience, there's no substitute for that. You can do all the practicing you want, and you can kind of rep it out. But for a lot of our guys this year, with the exception of Micah and JJ, we're still playing 9, 10 guys. They're the only guys we got coming back off our team last year that have any varsity, experience as far as like major minutes. And so decision-making is a factor. I mean, we're playing 2 freshmen also within our rotation, so getting them floor time and experience. But, I mean, even coming out of the summer, one of the things we talked about as a staff that we noticed and picked up on from our notes in the summer is decision-making was not one of our strong suits as far as qualities goes. And so we recognize it already, and we try to do things, in practice. And, some people, when you go look at it in a game, go, wow, they're bad decision makers sometimes. And I look at it and go, you should really see the improvement we've made. And so, some of it is just, kind of getting over the hump, like we talked about as a staff last night, even though we felt like we played really well to win both of those games and didn't do it. And so translating that over to your team of where it's early in the year, we haven't even got the district play yet. These are just kind of, at the end of the day, glorified warm-up games for your district play. Are we seeing growth and improvement? And, that's one thing we talked about as a staff even last night. It was like, yeah, we've seen a lot over the last 2 weeks of some of our, Nolansville's game really, was a blaring light of, these are a lot of things we don't do very well, and we fixed a lot of them. But, sometimes fixing mistakes doesn't necessarily always translate into wins. Those things you got to start piecing everything together.
We're talking to Matt Bradshaw, the head coach of the Stewarts Creek Redhawks. Last year, an experienced team. You had some scores I mean, that was a much easier situation. Now the guys that when you talk about youth, you've got guys that may be juniors, but they've not really been in the position or that they are in now, and so they've changed. Their roles have changed, and it just takes a period of adjustment, doesn't it?
Yes, and I think the one thing we're looking for is some consistency. Like we've not had the same leading scorer in any of our games, with the exception of maybe two, and that's been Cam Nelson, and he's been coming off the bench for us, and he's been doing a great job. So, kind of establishing some consistency would be good as far as just being able to, as a coach, at least you can kind of at least game plan for like, all right, who's going to be, who's the person we know we can kind of count on to go out and do X, Y, and Z. And, that's something that we've got to get better at. But at the same time, we're a good, solid team. And so our guys, I do appreciate the fact that they enjoy playing together. They work hard together. They enjoy being around each other. It's a great group of guys to coach. And so, you don't always have to have, the quote-unquote leading person. You can collectively get it together. But that means you have to collectively get it together, all five people working together at the same time, no mistakes, no, plays off type of mentality. And that's kind of some stuff that's kind of reared its head from time to time with inexperience, making poor decisions. And so, those are challenges. I think every coach always has different challenges in the year. That's kind of one that we're going through right now.
And I don't want to use the word leader, but it's like a go-to guy. I mean, you're still
no, you can use that word. That's totally fine because we've talked about it a lot. We don't have a leader as far as vocal leader, someone that wants the basketball, somebody that wants to be the person that can make a decision and live with it and all those things. We don't really have that. We have people that like to maybe consider it from time to time, but executing and coming up with those things and wearing the responsibility of it is something that's something that's neat. And we've talked about it. And, again, young people want to step out of their comfort zone, taking on new roles, and a lot of those people would be underclass people, so you're not wanting to step on any friends' toes. It's a lot of dynamics, but it's something we're working through.
And it does take time. But when the district comes around, hopefully somebody takes on that role. Because you do have athletes. I mean, those guys can run the floor, and I see some real good things. I know you're kind of going on that, and I know that it's going to hopefully take place for you. What are your Christmas plans for the team coming up? Because I know it gets a little crazy, and everybody going different places.
Yeah, we got a pre-Christmas. We're going to Tullahoma. We got CPA on Thursday. And then after Christmas, we're going to Watertown's Christmas tournament over in Watertown, and we'll play 3 games over there.
That's a good, neat little tournament, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of an unknown, but I know a lot of teams have gone to that Watertown tournament. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I started it about 15 years ago, and it's been something that we've really, in the 12 years I was there, it really took off and really was something that we enjoyed doing as a program. But it was, I think the way we ran it, as far as just trying to we started the games later in the day, so fans had a chance to come and really get plugged in and watching. So you're not starting a 10 a.m. game or anything like that. We used 3 gyms, and so it was one of those deals where the atmosphere was good, and so I think teams appreciated it, coming later in the day and enjoyed playing the competition, because it was pretty fair competition across the board for whether you were, whatever classification you were in.
So as
my opportunity to go back over there and take my guys over there was just something we wanted to do this year.
So as the creator of that tournament, they still allow you to come back. I'm just kidding.
Evidently. Maybe not after this year, but at least for one more year, yes.
Well, it was a great idea, because I tell you, a lot of teams love to go there. So I didn't know that was you, but that's pretty awesome. Coach, I hope you have a great Christmas and spend time with the family as much as you can. I know this time of year is kind of crazy and hard to do, but have a good Christmas, will you?
Thank you, brother. You too. Merry Christmas to you guys.
All right. That's Matt Bradshaw, the head coach of the Stewarts Creek Redhawks. I think he'll have them ready by the time we get ready for district play. This portion of the show brought to you by JHA Company, Josh Houston and Associates, jewelry, letter, jackets, yearbooks, graduation products, and more online at jhacompany.com. When we come back, we're talking some Rockville basketball.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here and you are our neighbors. Foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutorepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
Meet Little Caesars Thin Crust Pizza with toppings all the way to the edge and a crispy crust.
I love you, Cindy. Sorry, but that commercial voice guy was right. I only love thin crust.
Ouch, Billy. Put on your fancy pants and sashay into Little Caesars for the Fanceroni Pepperoni. With over 100 crispy old-world pepperoni and cheesy crust edge, you'll be saying fancy words like indubitably or crochet. Walk in and walk out for only $9.99.
Little Caesars in Murfreesboro on Memorial, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford, and Old Fort.
Pizza, pizza.
You've seen the ads out there, companies wanting to buy your home. But why sell yourself short when you can get fair market value? I'm Lisa Patton. If you have an estate to settle or a home to sell, call Parks Auction. We'll work with you to sell your home or property in any condition with no costly repairs on your timeline. Why accept one offer when you can have multiple? You need Parks Auction. We look out for your best interest. Call Parks Auction today. We handle everything.
If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan France Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
The Prentice Alsop Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
This portion of the show brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a complete, tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. And John Ding is back with you, and I've got to turn my phone off here. I know who that is. It's some kind of, spam call. Anyway, Wendell Ingram joins me here, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets, and we're talking medicine. Well, we're talking all kinds of things because I've talked to every coach, and you're no exception. You've got injuries and sickness, and it's all going around, and it's not a good thing for Rutherford County schools.
It is not. We got the injury bug, or you can call it the injury hawk, or whatever they want to call it. It is definitely flying around Rutherford County. The sickness is definitely flying around Rutherford County. But they tell us not to make excuses, but it's tough when you go into a week of practice for preparation and then you get a player hurt in practice.
Yeah. So, now you've lost one to an injury, a major injury, right?
Torn ACL, torn meniscus. He was our leader. He's still our leader, but he's our floor general. Everything starts and ends with him. He knows the plays, he calls the plays, and he got hurt in practice the day before the game. And when you go play a team and they're looking for him on the court because of their scouting report and they see him on crutches, I guess the coach get excited on the other side, but at the same time, he sends you a long email the next day, with prayers and things like that. And I appreciate the coach at Nolensville for that.
And those ACL injuries too, Coach, can be just running. I mean, it can.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily. It's not really contact necessarily, is it?
No. His was basically just a normal little basketball play. We wasn't even sweating, to be honest. And he fell down and he jumps up and he's like, "Hey, I'm good. Let's win tomorrow." And then a lot of the people saw it on his face. They were like, "No, he's not good. You need to go see someone." And when the knee's swelling as you're toting them to the training room, that's not a good sign.
I guess when we're talking the injuries, and then you've got to deal with flu, and really really toward the end of football or all the basketball season, flu is a major problem as well. I mean, it seems like every year it hits somebody or a few people anyway.
Yeah, I'm an old school guy. I remember listening to my mom tell me when I was little, you wear a coat at this time of the weather, big coat.
Oh, no,
so you
they don't do
sick.
that. They don't do that anymore, do they?
No, they wear the hoodies in the summer and they wear nothing in the winter. I tell a lot of the guys at the end of practice, I'm like, "Hey guys, you've been sweating. Put a jacket on so you don't get sick." And a lot of them look at me and I see him walking out with a T-shirt on. I got on the kid the other day. He left out with his practice jersey on, and I'm like, "You guys gonna get the flu?" And I feel like I would sound like my mom.
Yeah.
When I said that, and I'm like, man, I'm not that old, am I? But you hear those old superstitions, and you live by it now. And kids come back the next day, and they're with cough drops. You can smell the cough drops on them. You're like, "You sick?"
Yeah,
like, just a little bit, but I'm all right. And you're like, "Uh-oh."
They wear shorts in the wintertime, and I don't know. I can't figure it out. Let's talk some basketball. Had a loss to Nolensville, a very good Nolensville team.
Very good Nolensville.
Humboldt was a win, 68-59. You had a game with Tullahoma, lost that one. And how did Innsworth go?
We lost to Innsworth. We was down by 1 in the fourth quarter. Our other scorer, Daryl Cotton, goes down in the third quarter with an ankle injury. We'll find out more about that next week. And then our big man, Isaiah Breeden, goes down with a foot injury at the beginning of the fourth quarter. We'll find out more about that next week. So you probably can't hear it in my voice, but, man, my number 2 pencil, man, I'm erasing and I'm writing. I'm erasing and I'm writing. So we just got to get healthy. But the good thing about us, and I preach it daily, is it's next man up. We came in and we got it to a real competitive game in the fourth quarter. Innsworth just got hot. They got hot at the right time and hit some big shots and got some and ones. And next thing you know, we was down by 10 with about a minute left.
And I guess you're having to play a little bit younger now, as well, a little
yes.
bit.
I looked out there with about 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, and I had 2 sophomores, a freshman, and 2 juniors out there.
And it takes a period of adjustment, doesn't it? When you've got injuries and in order to – because their roles have all changed. And so not only the leadership part of it, you do have him over there on the bench, can provide as much, but when actually on the floor – And what about like who takes the shot? Who's the guy? Who's the go-to guy? And all those things have to work itself out, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But we talk about it. We do scenarios in practice now because of the injuries and sicknesses. I put 2 freshmen out there on the court, and I tell a lot of them, you don't go out there with your grade on your jersey. It's all about what you do on the court. They'll look at the yearbook and find out what grade you're in, but we don't want nobody. We don't care about that type of stuff because we are building for tomorrow, not for today. It's what we do in January. I did schedule really, really tough. I don't know what I was thinking when I did it at that time, but next year I hope somebody's there to monitor me to make sure I make good decisions on the schedule. To be able to get. But we're just trying to prepare ourselves for January.
Well, doesn't it too? When you have that, and I guess the positive way to look at it is all these kids that probably weren't going to get playing time are getting playing time, which should really help depth when you're coming into the January, February months.
Yeah, it does. 2 of the freshmen told me that their mom would leave after the JV game, and they found out that they get into the game, and now they're starting to stay at the varsity game. So you just never know with us. They call us the cardiac boys for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you at the edge of your seat. The players, they got to be ready to get in that fire. And the good thing about it is these guys are getting reps in December against some good competition that in January it'll be ice water running through their veins. They'll just be sitting out there and they'll just be going with the flow. And that's what teams is going to have to worry about with us. They're going to get better, and that's what you're going to be scared at.
We're talking to Wendell Ingram, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets, and they love their basketball out at Rockville. Relatively new school. I'm not going to say you're new anymore. You're old timers, but Rockville they love their basketball out there, and the support's been great. And I know you've had a good experience so far with the teams, and of course the girls are playing well too. And I would think the pride has already set in. I mean, you've set that with the boys because a new school sometimes it's hard to go. Well, I came from somewhere else and that kind of thing, but that's been pretty easy for you, hasn't it?
It has. We're in a competitive district. This district don't give you time to get better. You just got to catch up. And like I said, we put ourselves. Last night before we even started with Innsworth, they got a little money over there. So the guy was kind of like, where you guys from? I never heard of Rockville. So when I told him it was in Murfreesboro, and then his wife was like, hey, I think they're a new school. And he was like, well, you guys don't play like you're new. So that's what we want people to know, that we're definitely coming. I have to go out here and schedule games to where, we can introduce ourselves in a positive way and hopefully leave an impact on the court once we get done playing.
Well, I guess in a way of complimenting you, I think when teams take on their coach's personality,
yes.
and they definitely have taken on your personality. It's kind of upbeat, it's positive, everybody's playing together and that kind of thing. That's going to help when you have injuries like you're having right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I stopped getting on it when I hear players say the symptoms they have. I Google it on WebMD. That's a no-no. Don't ever do that.
No.
It always ends up as saying call 911. So I'm like, just for a flu, call 911. So I stay away from WebMD. I hate to say that, but it'll scare you as a coach because I get to Googling symptoms and it's always at the end tells you to call 911. So just for a runny nose, it says call 911.
And it's hard to tell a kid, when he's not feeling well, that you need to go home. Don't worry. Take it easy. Get away from everybody else, but it's hard. They want to play and they want to be part.
They do, and then you kind of say that a little bit, and then you get that text from that parent that gives you those same symptoms and says, I think you should let them come on home, but it's up to you, coach, at the end. And I'm like, that really means come on home.
Yeah.
And I follow back up. I'm sending them home and just let you know he's not wearing a coat. So.
Okay. I guess too, and we've really gotten off the subject a little bit, but when it comes to you can see the outflowing of caring that you have for your kids, and it really just, to me, it's a pleasure to watch, and you take pride in what they do. And I know you're concerned about them. I know you check their grades. I mean, you're like daddy at school, really.
I love every last one of those kids. I even love the ones that we don't keep on the team, just because they had the heart to come out there and try out. In the hallways, I'm high-fiving kids. I'm telling them to come out to the game. This one kid came up to me at school the other day and said, man, I had $7. He said I had $10 left, and I paid $7 to get in the game, and I bought me a bag of popcorn and a drink. And he said, man, but I really like you, coach. So little stuff like that, it gets to me. And the next thing I know, I told him, I said, hey, well, I'm going to put you on the pass list. You come to the next game, it's on me. They can be doing anything else right now, and they decide to come out there and watch the boys and girls basketball. So we got to repay them. It's kind of like fishing. You use the right bait, they're going to come.
Yeah. So, and as a response to that, I guess I would think it's hard for you to cut kids. I mean, and I know it's for any coach, but I think particularly for you, because if you could keep 50, you'd keep them.
I would, especially if I cut a kid. They work at McDonald's. I got to make sure they get my order right. They may say you got to pick wrong, but I'm gonna get your order wrong.
Well, what have you got coming up for Christmas?
Man,
Tell me your plans.
Next week we're gonna play Farragut on Wednesday.
Well, somebody needs to catch you on this schedule now. Okay.
And then we're gonna play Mae Jemison out of Huntsville, Alabama on that Thursday. And then we're going to open a few presents for Christmas. I'm going to allow them to open some presents at home. And then we come back and we play TCA out of Jackson Division II school. And then we're going to play Dyersburg. And then we're going to play Smyrna.
So, but you are going to have Christmas, right?
We are going to have
Okay.
Christmas. I'm not going to be too much of a Scrooge, but I'm going to give them a couple of days to play with the remote control vehicle out in the yard.
Yeah, there you go. Well, happy Merry Christmas to you guys, and
thank you so much,
and
sir.
Appreciate everything you do at Rockville. And tell Mr. Luker and Coach Hockenberry to stay calm.
I will.
Okay, everything's going to be okay. All right, that's Wendell Ingram, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets, and this portion of the show is brought to you by. That's right. It's the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com. And when we come back, I think we're talking, I believe it's Siegel. And Brian Baird will be joining the show right as we continue on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
An app for easy payment. Solar energy solutions.
I just want to talk to a real person when I need help. Energy tips and low rates.
Done, 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 done.
I want to fly my car to the moon.
Houston, let's talk about electric vehicles. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. Tell us what it's like to work at a family business.
It's a lot of fun. However, it's a lot of work. Everybody has to pull their weight equally.
What do you think are some of the advantages of people doing business with a family business versus a corporate business?
We are here to answer all questions. We're responsible for scheduling jobs. We're not here to sell you material and pass you off to a list of installers.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
The Blue Raider fan source for officially licensed Middle Tennessee gear is Raider Tees. T-shirts, caps, sweats in all sizes, designs, colors, children's to plus sizes. Raider Tees has decals and license plates to show everyone your favorite team. Plus, check out their wide selection of Blue Raider art, jewelry, even golf tee markers. Show your Blue Raider pride with the largest selection of Blue Raider merchandise anywhere by shopping Raider Tees, 910 Ridgely Road, just before the bridge over Broad behind Chewy's.
Sir Pizza. Murfreesboro's favorite pizza is now hiring at all 3 local locations. That's right. We want you to join the Sir Pizza team. Stop in at our East Main, Veterans Parkway, or Memorial Boulevard locations and let us know how you'd like to join the Sir Pizza family. Also, we've made it even easier to order for carryout or delivery. Just head on over to sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We're back on the Coach's Show, brought to you by State Farm agents Sandy Womack, Bud Morris, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Time to talk some Siegel hoops this morning. Boys basketball coach Matt Rigsby joins us in studio today and talk about the Siegel Star season so far, look ahead to the holidays and what happens around Christmas and after Christmas. And I don't think we're going to talk district stuff just yet. There's a lot to do between now and then. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Have you had a chance to get your Christmas shopping done at all as a coach?
I just told Michael Voss that's where I was headed after this. So,
oh, good.
I'm always, 11th hour, last second guy.
Well, if you're 11th hour, this is, you're ahead of the schedule then.
I hate traffic so much. For some reason, I'm going to punish myself today. But I've got loved ones I need to take care of, Brian.
Yeah, I understand that. I guess I should start mine at some point soon as well. But I have you guys at 9-1 or 9-2. Is that right?
9-2.
9-2. Had definitely quite the streak. Have not lost since 56-43 loss to Brentwood Academy, and your Stars Thanksgiving Classic have just kind of been rolling them out. And last night, a win over pretty good Summit team on the road, 61-57. Pretty tight game there.
Tell you what they had is for you want to talk about unlucky. I think we were quote unquote unlucky for about 31 minutes. And then when luck struck for us, they had a kid get a technical. And so we had, after a shooting foul, so Dorian Lyles hits 2 free throws. Carter Webb goes 1 of 2. Then we score. So that's about a 5-point swing. I don't think we led until that point with about 50 seconds to go. They banked in a corner 3. So talk about the physics of that if you want to. I'd rather not. They banked in a corner 3 to go up 4, and I just looked at Linus Martin and Sam Gordon, my assistants. I'm like, well, it just ain't our night, man. But again, luck finally swung our way a little bit. They're tough. They're
I don't
solid.
know that I've seen a banked in corner 3 in a while.
You try to figure that out and visualize that in your mind. But we come away with a win. Mac Moss went down in the second half, played the whole second half without Mac. Anybody's listening to this show, they understand basketball in this area and how valuable number 4 Mac Moss is to the Eagle Stars. So, we overcame that. Credit to Carter Webb, his 27. Dorian Lyles, I think, had 13. Cadence Melendez, 11. But those 3 really carried the load for us offensively after the fact. And that's what you got to do. I mean, somebody's got to step up. Injuries are part of things. They're going to happen. There's no woe is the Stars on our end. Everybody's going through injuries right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I hope all these young athletes across the Rutherford County here, they get healthy, and we're thinking about them. And again, it is part of athletics, though, unfortunately.
Well, your opponents certainly aren't going to feel sorry for I mean, that's just the part of it. But for an athlete and a competitor like that young man, you definitely hope for a quick recovery and back out there on the basketball court and such for him. But you mentioned Carter Webb, and Coach, I looked at his week. So from last Saturday to last night, in 3 games, 80 points.
Oh, absolutely. And that's well, hey, that's number 0 Carter Webb for you. I mean, and I mean, I love the kid to death. He's a phenomenal talent. He's just really matured so much over, of course I get him his freshman year and he's just really matured over to the point of he's just playing a game now. He's just playing a game that he loves. He doesn't, we had some issues at Upperman, which was a great win for us that Saturday night. Never said a word, tuned out the crowd. He just plays basketball. And one thing that I've really started noticing last several games, we talk about adversity, injuries, bad luck, whatever, is he's become a leader in his words to his teammates on the bench. And Carter don't say much, but a simple "come on, man, I love you, come on, man, we got this," or "hey, flare off that screen and I'll get you the ball." When he's starting to say those things and really be a positive influence in words in his leadership too. Not just, oh, by the way, he's probably averaging about 23 points a game.
Yeah, that obviously helps, but that extra element from him, I don't know. A lot of things have to make you proud as a coach, but yeah, averaging 23 a game is part of it, and then the fundamentals. But as a coach, that extra vocalism, that leadership, that has to make you feel a little extra special as a coach to see.
Absolutely. Again, case in point last night, when Mac goes down, Carter, verbalized more things and really, help fill that void. And that's just great to see the maturation of a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, the 23 points per game is nice too.
Yeah. 80 in the last 3 games, all of that. Yeah, that all goes together. Matt Rigsby joining us here talking Siegel boys basketball. You have had a few really, really great opponents. I think Upperman, Coach, is a really good basketball team. Not a lot of people around here maybe know about them, but they've played some Middle Tennessee. I think they've played Oakland. They played some other teams from around here, and they're not bad.
Coach Martin, one of my assistants, and myself, we went back to our Upper Cumberland roots from his DeKalb County days and my Canyon County days. So we went up to Baxter, Tennessee, to play Upland, a dang good year in and year out, solid Upland team. They are 3A state tournament worthy. It's that simple. If they're not playing in Murphy Center in the 3A classification this year, I'd be shocked come March. But that was a great win for us. I will actually go so far to use the word hostile environment. Guys have proposed, again, back to the maturity aspect of kind of who we are right now, and I'm very proud of. But it was a great win for us. It really was. They're solid.
I've had wins over Wilson Central as well, 66-37. And again, last night over Summit, 61-57. I think since the last time we had the chance to talk with you, you had Summit at home, and that was a 51-44 win for you as well. So you've been rattling off several wins here in a row after the Thanksgiving. And I know that that's momentum that you want to continue to carry. And Coach, playing pretty well right now. What goals did you want to accomplish here before the Christmas break with your team? And are you there? Are you close in terms of where you want to be to get ready for the district to come after January?
We've really kind of hammered this year. We're good. I'm not lowballing anybody. Siegel Stars have a good basketball team this year. Not my doing, because we have talented kids who work hard. All right, but do you want to be great? Good versus great. And to be great, why did Summit out rebound us by 2 last night? You claim you want to be a great team, you got to be great on the glass. You need being good's great, fine, but your talent level says you're good. Now you got to do the little things to be great. Ralph Clark last night takes a huge charge with about a minute and a half to go. We're finally trying to claw our way back into a game that, quite frankly, we probably shouldn't have even been in at that point. But number 10, Ralph Clark, steps up, takes a big hit. Dorian Lyles, our number 11, he's out there flying around everywhere defensively. He's just so handsy. He leaves us in steals and deflections, of course, with those hands. And they're making great plays. Now let's get that great to be more consistent, though.
You're going from good to better to great. No, that's the progression, and I guess that's why you play the tough competition that you've been playing here the last few weeks. And I've been asking a few of the coaches here as well. With the districts being what they are and as small as they are, I mean, you don't start really district play until the second week in January, or somewhere around in there, and that really forces you to have to find a lot of games, non-district games. I mean, who would have thought playing an Upperman probably a few years ago when we had 8-team districts, but now, yes. And is that good, bad, indifferent? What are your thoughts on that?
I see both sides of it. I mean, it's nice to have that flexibility in your schedule to branch out and play more competition, or say we're not very good. It's nice to have that flexibility in your schedule to branch out and play some lower level opponents to give you kids some confidence. I think regardless, 8-team district, 5-team district, each schedule needs to have a good blend, a balance, of that competition. And no, I'm not saying cupcakes, but I've got 2 great seniors I love, Elliot Huckabee and Nate Bowman, and I need opportunities to get them on the floor, because they're 4-year seniors and they deserve opportunities to get on the floor.
Yeah.
And so again, that schedule and that balance of it. So the 5-team district allows you to have more of a balance. Now, it can be tough finding games sometimes, and so obviously there's the drawback to that. But we found games. I know that, because we've got 12 in the month of December total. So
yeah.
So we found them.
There are definitely games there, and you also have the girls basketball coach to talk with and through when you're making a schedule, because a lot of those things you have to consider together. So that can make that a bit of a challenge as well. And I'm glad you brought up that point about. Coaches have such an incredibly difficult job, I think, because that 4-year senior that maybe gives you cleanup minutes at the end of a game is just as important. That's why I want to make sure I have every kid on the roster, and I want to make sure if I can get their name on the radio and we're doing their game, because they've worked blood, sweat, and tears to be out there and to play. And that's just as important to that kid and that kid's family than somebody who started, every game for 4 years.
For sure. Their willingness to be a part of the team, to want to be on the team, to log the same practice minutes and hours that a Carter Webb or Mac Moss does is just as valuable, especially to the character of who we are as a team, to the dynamic of, the fact it's kind of my job too, to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
And I'll admit it. I mean, I want to keep everybody happy, because if you're not playing to the level of potential that you can as well. So that's part of it.
Yeah, but they're an important part. You got to have enough kids to have a scout team and practice and all that, and builds character, and just so many things about that. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Coach. Let's see. I wanted to bring up your schedule here and take a look. So you've got really the game with Shelbyville on Monday, and we're going to be broadcasting that game on Monday. And then I think you've got something going on at your place before Christmas too, right?
That is the Adidas shootout. That is Coach Voss's. That is the Riverdale Adidas shootout.
Okay. Are you there or at home?
We are helping host the first two games.
Okay.
The first two, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday we play at Riverdale. And Coach Voss does a great job with this every year. He's got so many teams, and I'm thankful he asked us to help host. So yeah, we're getting two freebie home games out of it.
Well, that's
those
nice.
First two games.
Yeah.
It wasn't nice how he scheduled me to play Pope Prep, because they are loaded, but he and I will talk about that later.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, because I've seen some of their scores, and Jackson Christian, and then Marshall County, who he just got through playing last night too.
Yes,
so
they're solid. Now the Jackson Christian, actually they dropped him late, and again, Michael Voss is one of the hardest workers around, boys and girls. He scrambled and picked up Maplewood. So we'll play Maplewood that Thursday instead of Jackson Christian.
So that's Wednesday and Thursday are games at Siegel, and then Friday you go over to Riverdale in that, and then you've got something after Christmas too, I think, right?
Yeah, the Music City Hoop Fest is going to be at Page High School. We play Loretto and Page. It's a 3-game deal. And but I told let's get 2 games out of it, 2 days out of it. So yeah, Loretto and Page post Christmas.
So you've got plenty to do here in December, it looks like.
Yes, I do, and I've still got Christmas shopping to do, Brian.
Yeah, I know. I got to get you out of here pretty quick. But
no worry.
January 9th is when the district starts. We'll be talking a lot about that when we kind of recap the Christmas break when we come back next time. But all of this is to get ready for when the real second season of starts, and that's the district slate.
Yep, and then that's when it really gets interesting.
Sure does. Well, Coach, good luck. Appreciate you coming in this morning. We look forward to coming out to your place on Monday night to broadcast the games with Shelbyville. There'll be a couple of really good games there, and I hope you get that Christmas shopping done.
I probably won't, but I'm going to try.
Yeah. That's why Walgreens is open 24/7. So,
valid point.
Yeah.
I'll have to use that.
Yeah. I'm not sure how well that has ever worked for me. It's usually on the couch during the Christmas break, but whatever. Coach Matt Rigsby joining us talking Siegel Hoops this morning on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more online at CraigsTaxService.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
We fulfill all your tax preparation needs, from individual returns to corporations, and handle any of those scary letters you may get from the IRS.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We're back here on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Offering your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. Time to talk some Eagleville basketball. Boys basketball coach Davey McLaren joins us here this morning. And Coach, good morning to you.
Thanks for having me. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good to have you along with us today, and got a lot to talk about. It's been, I guess, right at just over a month or so of the basketball season under the belt and getting ready for the Christmas holiday. I guess for a basketball coach, it's hard to get Christmas shopping done, isn't it?
I don't even know what Christmas shopping is. My wife has to take care of all that.
Well, good. I'm sure you have one to take care of at least, right?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, last night, we'll just kind of start with that one. And I told John on our broadcast last night, Eagleville probably has more rivals than anybody on the planet. And you took on another one last night in Forest, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Everybody claims to be our rival, which is a good thing to have. Everybody brings their A game, wants to play us, and we did. We had an old time rivalry last night with an old district foe that's moved up, but they're still just 10 miles down the road. So the rivalry's still there.
Got the win 79-39, and that's a quality win. And anytime you can get a win over Forest like that and at home, and you're scoring lots of points here. In the first game at Forest, it was 56-38. So you were able to improve almost 20 points right there in terms of the scoring. So what's the difference there?
Yeah, that's kind of the head scratcher. I mean, we're taking the same shots. We're just knocking down some open shots at this point. We've been competing on the defensive end, and defense has been keeping us in ball games. All 10 games that we've played played really good defense, minus one game, and we've held our opponents in the 40s. But we've just not hit our stride offensively. Executing well, shots not falling. Last two games, we've seen the shots go through the net. You kind of get a momentum and you kind of ride that out. And last night we just carried over what started Friday against Mount Pleasant into Forest last night, and we come out early and hit some open threes, and you could just see the confidence going. The energy was there, and of course our defense was just consistent to what we've been doing. So when you hit some shots, games are a whole lot easier.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of, number one, it feels better, and there's not a pressure there, and I guess maybe players play a little freer, and sometimes that helps them play. I don't want to say at their potential or above, but that they can take it to another level, maybe.
Yeah, well, we're still very young.
Mm-hmm.
At any point, we have three sophomores on the floor at all times. We have one senior, and we have two juniors. That all six of them get the majority of the time, and sophomores come off the bench. So there's going to be some inconsistency at times, just experience, but once they see, they're getting more floor experience, and we're expecting to see, this just continual growth and confidence just build. They've been working hard. We feel like we know what offense to run with this group, and we're getting the shots. Like I said, they execute well. It's just going to be a matter of, knocking down open shots and finding the open shots.
We're talking with Davey McLaren this morning, the head coach of the Eagleville boys basketball team. I did notice that Jackson Nichols only poured in 50 this week for you in the two games, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that helps. He came out and against Mount Pleasant, and we found him early, and he hit a couple shots early on. And you got to tip the hat to the guys that kept finding him over and over. He's a shooter. He can shoot with a lot of confidence, and he's one of several we have on the team. But he's got the hot hand, and as a team, you got to keep giving it to him. And I'm proud of our team for finding him. I'm proud of him for working hard to get to that point and have that confidence. So yeah, he's had a really good two games, and I'm sure he'll get a lot of attention in weeks to come.
That's the thing that happens. You have somebody that does that, and there's a little film out there then, and then all of a sudden that's when the attention comes, because I mean, nothing's a secret. I mean, just because you're playing at Eagleville versus Forest, that doesn't mean that your next opponents don't see that. I guarantee you all of them see it, and that's just the nature of the business now.
Yeah, with the age of online film trading, you're just a click away from someone seeing all your games. So there's no secrets out there. And the good thing is, with Jackson shooting as well as he is, we haven't seen CJ play at his best yet. He's getting the looks, and we know what he's capable of. And when everything, just when he settles down and it clicks with him, we're gonna have two guys out there that you're gonna have to pick and choose which one you really want to face guard, because we got other guys that can do other things. So as we continue to progress, I feel like we'll just keep getting better and better each game, each practice.
Well, you mentioned CJ, and he kind of seems to be the constant there. I mean, he's going to work for his points, but he's also going to make sure his teammates get theirs. Is he kind of the one that you want to have out there that is in control of the game floor for you as the coach?
Well, I trust him. He's been a 4-year starter, and the last 2 games he's come off the bench, but he's still playing starter minutes. I think right now he's just struggling with his own confidence just a little bit with the shooting. He gets frustrated, and as I would as well. He's a career 35% three-point shooter, and he's just not there right now. So we've just taken a different approach, let him see the game, then come in and then do what he does. And yes, he's that one on the floor that has the experience. He's been in the most games for us. He's played multiple positions for us, so we rely on him to be the shooting guard or be the point guard, or he's just put in a lot of positions that we count on him, and so he's a huge part of what we're doing. And sometimes it's hard as a senior to come in. You're the only senior, and you want your senior year to be perfect, and then it's not perfect, and then defenses focus on you and they make it hard on you, and so there's some growth there. I mean, anybody can grow at any time. So seniors have to grow as well as freshmen. So because you just get different attention as as you go, and each year's a different challenge. So yeah, we do count on him tremendously, and he's a huge part of who we are and what we do. And I see him getting back into the swing of it. He shot the ball well last night, but he gave up shots for other people as well, and that's growth as well. So he played a really good game last night as well.
Yeah, and Davey, maybe that's part of it too. I mean, when you're the lone senior, and I mean, there can be a lot of pressure on your shoulders, feeling like maybe you've got to carry this team, and I hope maybe this gives him the opportunity to say, you know what, slow the game down a little bit for him. I mean, all kinds of things that could happen there. And he did have 12 last night, and Camden Cole had 15. So, I mean, you can't really argue with 79 points in a game. So I guess something worked right for you.
Yeah, I mean, the guys just really, it started on the defensive end. We created a lot of turnovers, and we got a lot of easy buckets. And when you score a lot of points like that, you're not shooting contested shots, and so it started on the defensive end. It led to a lot of breakaways. I can't leave the conversation today without saying, we did something that hadn't happened in a long time at Eagleville. We had 2 dunks last night, both by sophomores. James Biga got his first dunk, and thought he was going to pass out on the floor afterwards. He got excited, got a little too excited, and then Camden Cole came up with another one. So the energy got contagious. The team was fired up. I was spending my time on the sideline trying to get them back in their seats before we got another technical. So it was a lot of excitement last night. Seen a lot of good things, a lot of good energy. Kids were fired up.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun and a fun atmosphere, and the fact that there had to be a part of you too, Coach, that wanted to just get out there and hoop and holler and jump and chest bump and all that kind of thing. But you have to kind of keep it cool, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You know, you want to celebrate with them. You know, the inner kid in you comes out in times, you know, when you see a big play, and also when you see your team that's, you know, you've pushed and pushed and pushed, and then things click. You know, it's hard not to celebrate a little bit with them, and I think I should at times, and sometimes I probably don't do that enough. But you know, it was fun watching them play hard, and you know, the things just go right after a good 3 days of hard practice. Things just kind of click together.
Well, you've certainly had a very tough schedule. Just looking at your 6-4 record, the losses. 2 very close games with Santa Fe, and then you played up with Central Magnet, and that was a narrow loss, and one to Rockvale, which is a 4A team. So, I mean, if nothing else, by the time we start talking about district play after Christmas, you've got to be battle tested. I don't know how you couldn't coming out of that.
Oh yeah, I mean, in our 3 losses to Santa Fe and Central Magnet, we had the lead with 2 minutes to go. Mm-hmm. That's youth, knowing how to close a game out. That's where our youth shined. You know, sometimes shot selection, sometimes didn't finish the defensive play. On the end, you work hard, you just don't get the rebound, or you know, and so, or we don't hit free throws. So you know, we you know, you want to be perfect, but that's just not going to happen. And you know, there's no success without failure. And so with each one of those losses, you know, we learned a little bit about ourselves, and you know, we also learned we could have won those ball games with, you know, with just a defensive stop here and a made layup over here. And of course, you know, in those 3 losses, we shot 30% or below from the field, so just horrific shooting percentage. So we know that we're going to start hitting shots, and as long as we, you know, don't hit the panic button, we're going to see some turnaround. But we are going to be very battle tested. We go to Scottsboro, Alabama, after Christmas, and we're going to play big schools down there. I mean, that's, you know, I don't know how we'll fare, but we're going to go down there and we're going to compete. We're going to play at a high level. We're going to have to, and so it'll be a good little test for us.
Well, you've got 2 on the road versus teams you've already played on Monday and Tuesday with Cornersville and Community, and then you've got the Christmas holiday, and then the week after Christmas on the 27th, that's when you start down in Scottsboro, Alabama in the Dan Webb Classic. And are you guaranteed 3 games down there or 2? We're
guaranteed 3 games, and also our JV as well. So it's going to be a very productive 3 days. It's great. All of our guys are going to see the action on the floor. JV's been playing really well. You know, all 18 guys have been working hard, and you know, appreciate Coach Bo Tollett and Coach Chris Ellis with that JV. You know, that's the future of the program, and we're going to take them down there with us, and they're going to get guaranteed 3 games as well. So we're very excited about this tournament.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Well, Coach, I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning, and congrats on the season so far, and wish you luck down in Alabama as well. We'll catch you after the holiday, and hope you and the entire Eagleville family and the McLaren family especially have a very Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I hope y'all do as well. Thank you so much.
It's Davey McLaren joining us, talking Eagleville basketball this morning, and it's brought to you by Bowen's Body Shop. From dings and dents to full body work, trust Jeff and Kyle Bowen to do the job right. They're on Middle Tennessee Boulevard.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, talking with Anne-Marie Brents.
When people walk in and they're like, tell me what's good, I usually tell them the loaded baked potato, which is a fully loaded potato with the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives, and then we put meat on top of it.
At Rick's, they use the largest potatoes you can find.
Every Tuesday, we run a special on the loaded potatoes. We call it Tater Tuesday, and we sell a lot of potatoes.
Barbecue, smoked chicken, ribs, they've got it all at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, and online at ricksbbq.com.
It's time to talk MTCS sports. It's Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA, live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
We're joined by Middle Tennessee Christian School coaches to talk about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. It's time to talk orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner.
Welcome into MTCS Cougar Corner here on this Saturday morning. It's Boys Week, so we're talking boys basketball with Coach Greg Eubanks. And Coach, good morning. Merry Christmas. And I know we've got a lot to talk about here this morning about your team and the school and everything, but have you got your Christmas shopping done?
Well, Christmas shopping. You know, Christmas shopping changed a lot in the last few years, right? With Amazon and FedEx and everything else like that. So, all honesty, let me ask my wife, have we finished our Christmas shopping? So I'll let her come on later and answer that. So
I bet there's one that you have to get. At least, you know, there's one that you have to do.
Yes, that's kind of how it works. Yeah, she's amazing with the kids and there's people I'm like, I didn't even know who that person is, but I'm glad we got him a present. So she's very, very thoughtful and makes caramels for people and different things. So the Christmas is great. It's right in the middle of the basketball season.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it. Well, good morning to you too.
Absolutely. You know, that is one thing that's interesting. For basketball coaches, you talk about the holiday break, and you know, there is time to celebrate Christmas and New Year, but there's also a lot of basketball mixed in with that as well, generally. And so over the years, as much as you have coached, I know that you've spent many pre and post Christmases on the road, going to gyms here, there, and yonder, if you will.
Yeah, there seems like there's always a game to watch, and we try to keep things in perspective and realize, okay, this is high school basketball. It's really important. And on the other hand, it's high school basketball. It's not the end all be all. It's not the most important thing, but to have time to spend with your family and those type of things. So I try to not have a whole lot of activities around either Thanksgiving or Christmas. And this year it kind of worked out where we took some before Thanksgiving, we didn't have our football players. And so we had some time off during that time. And then we played last night, we played this afternoon, and we play on Monday. And then we'll have a few days off and come back next week. And on the 26th, actually, and practice on the 26th. And then we're going to head to Arkansas for about 3 days and looking forward to some time away and to play some different teams and experience some new things and to be able to practice and play and, new atmospheres and those type of things, and hopefully prepare for when we come back in January, we're ready to go. So it's been a learning process. It's been a process of trying to find our rhythm and practice in ways that are a little bit different because we have a hard time up until we had our first practice on Monday where we had our whole team. So we had 4 days this week where we had our whole team there because we still had one boy, Briggs Boyd, who got injured in the Columbia Academy game, Columbia Academy football game, the semifinals. So that would have happened the week before Thanksgiving. So he was coming off an injury. So we had 4 days of practice with our whole team. And then we've got 3 days in a row of games. Last night, we went to Freed Hardeman University and actually played Jackson Christian and got to experience a college type gym. And we went down there for a campus tour and just to try to expose the boys to a college and what a college visit would be like, and what a different type of atmosphere. And then tonight we're at Franklin Road Academy, and our girls play at 4:00, and the varsity plays at 5:30. And then on Monday we're going to play just a boys game, JV and varsity boys game against the Nashville Central Christian Warriors, which is the homeschool group out of Nashville. And so it'll be 3 good tests for us. And one of the things that happened last night was we got down a little bit, and you would think normally you would, put the subs in and those type of things. But I told the boys, I said, we gotta play this out because we need the reps. And so, because we're still a brand new team. And so we need the reps with the guys who are going to play with the most minutes for us when it comes to January. And so we played that thing out and tried to figure out how to play our defense and try to see if we could execute some. So that's the great thing about our football team winning the state championship. I don't know if you know this, our football team won a state championship. I say that all the time.
I've heard that time or two.
I'm so proud of those guys. I'm so proud of PD, coaching staff. They coach those guys up so hard, and they watching those guys play football, they executed so well, and they did things that are really, shifts at the line and fake handoffs, and in fact, we put in a play earlier this week where we kind of run, throw the ball in the post and then run some guys off of there. And I said, it's just like the football team where we're going to fake to this guy, we're going to fake to this guy, and we're going to hand it to this guy, we're going to pitch it to this guy and see if we can get a shot out of that. So it's, trying to steal something from Petey and the football team boys. So anyway, it's been good. It's been a learning process, and we're coming together. But like I said, we're focusing on that. This week we had 4 practices and 3 games, and then next week we'll take a little time off, and then we'll come back the week after that and go to Arkansas, and then we'll take off for New Year's and New Year's Day, and then come back and we hit school again. School will be back on us real fast. But that's the great thing about. I love summertime and I love Christmas break because there's you don't have schoolwork. The kids don't have to wake up at 6:30, whatever time they have, and we can just focus on basketball and can really make a lot of improvement during this time of year. So that's what we're excited about. We're grateful for where we're at right now, but we're just trying to get better and get every single day and just keep improving and coming together as a team. So last night we got in last night a little bit after midnight, and so it was a long day, and but they'll be fired up. They're 16, 17, 18 years old. They'll come out this afternoon ready to play and with a lot of energy, and it's a district game for us against Franklin Road Academy. So we're gonna have to bring a lot of energy. They're athletic. They're an athletic team, and they can do some good things. So we're gonna have to continue to work on playing together. We talk about playing together, and we just talked about working together and having those guys trust each other and what they're doing. So it's one of the things that got us in trouble last night was we talked about they had one really good player, and we don't want one guy. We don't want to play 1-on-1. We're not good enough to beat anybody 1-on-1, but 1-on-5, we have a chance with that. So we want to have 5 guys guarding the ball, and that requires communication and trust. And again, it's just a learning process, and we're blending guys together who haven't played a lot together, but it's a learning process, and it's exciting to watch the guys come together and do that.
Those late nights and early mornings are fine for 16 and 17-year-olds, and they may grumble about it. But for coaches and broadcasters and such, that's a long night, isn't it? A long weekend.
When I watch those college football coaches show, the Josh Heupel show, or the Nick Saban show, I'm thinking, how in the world do they do that when their game ends so late and they look like they're fresh and ready to go, dressed in a suit? So I'm not dressed in a suit. I was a little worried this morning what my voice would sound like, but I think it's just part of the grind and part of the process, and you got to take advantage every single day because we're limited in what we can do. But it's a blessing to be a part of it. We'd say this every day, right? It's a blessing to be part of a team. It's a blessing to have a relationship with these families and with the boys, and we're just grateful to be able to do that. So, but yes, we're gonna recover this afternoon, and we'll take Sunday off and worship the Lord and take care of our bodies also during that time.
Yeah, be time for a nap on Sunday. That's why that day of rest.
Don't watch much pro football this time of year. So don't watch don't watch anything else but just high school basketball during this time of year. So
I bet.
I'm not very good when it comes to March Madness. I'm not the guy you want to ask when it comes to March Madness because I have no idea. I don't really know what the good college teams are. And so last year, in fact, my wife had a little and they had a contest for the college bowl games. And I like to think I know I like to think I know who could beat who and that type of stuff. And she came in last place. And so this year I'm not involved in that at all because I don't know it. And I can tell you about the best high school teams around, but I can't tell you much about pro college football.
Yeah, you can probably break down the the best plays for Franklin Road Academy and what they're going to run. And
I can tell you that. I can tell you there's some teams in our district that are really, really good and really, really athletic. And it's we're there. A team the basketball played in our district is high level, and we have really, really good coaches and in our region. And Jackson Christian, the team we played last night, they're very good in football. They're very good in football too. But man, their coach, our coach actually went to Brentwood High School, and he does a fantastic job with his guys. And so it's interesting to watch and try to learn things. And I try to, when I pick up film, we just add things in. I'm running a play right now that Father Ryan actually ran against. Father Ron ran against Franklin Road Academy. It looked so good. We put that in. So, and also when you watch film, you try to, if you see something that's hard to guard, or you see something that I wouldn't want to happen, and we put that in practice the next day. So we're trying some new things to see if it'll work and experiment. That's what we can try to do in our non-district games. But like I said, it's hard to do that in practice with just the kind of limited numbers that you have. So now that you have, we're using the games as 5-on-5 situations and trying to see what we can come up with and figure out ways to win. So
we've got Greg Eubanks here talking MTCS boys basketball here this morning, and I did want to go back and talk a little bit. And it's a great problem to have. Don't get me wrong, but when you get those basketball players back so late, and they really haven't still found their mojo, their basketball legs. I mean, they're still very much early on in the process, and so this is a really important time for you. And this this trip to Arkansas after Christmas probably will give you a chance to really kind of come together as a team, I would think.
That's what we said it last week. Once we got most of the football guys back last week, and guys were there at least watching, they couldn't participate. But that's what I said. We got 3 weeks until we come back in January, and then we start playing our district games on a regular basis. And so there's 3 weeks we have to get in shape and to continue to work together. We had a great summer this past June, so we're ahead. We're not starting from scratch. And also, this is our second year at MTCS. And so it's nice to have some guys who kind of know what's going on, or just the language that we use and the things that we want to try to apply. So that is, we had 3 weeks to try to get in shape and try to work together. And then we'll continue to try to get better, because we're really shooting for the 1st of February. Our district tournament starts earlier than the public schools do, but we're shooting for the 1st of February to be at our very best. And basketball is a tournament game, and they say in the colleges they don't remember what you did except in March, and so for us it'll be they won't remember what we did in November and December. They'll remember what we did in February and hopefully into March. So that's the goal in this. And every day is an experiment. Every day is a process to try to get better and focus on that process. Not worry about necessarily the income, or don't worry about the school board, but just try to win possessions. Try to win possessions and keep learning how to play. And it's a long-term process, right? That the guys that are not seniors, that they would continue to learn. And so, over a several year process, they would continue to get better. again, talking to the coach last night, we were talking about his defense, and he said he's been doing the type of defense he runs for about the past 4 years. And so sometimes it takes 2 or 3, 4 years to figure stuff out, or for guys to kind of grow up in a system to be able to do what the coach is trying to get them to do. So, and once you do that, it becomes successful, just like you see with, with Alabama football. Alabama football is good because they've got a system and they've got a plan, and they incorporate the players into it. So it's all the process that we go along with those type of things.
You mentioned Division II and the difference. One of the big differences with Division I, especially, they have for 4A much smaller districts, not really starting district play until the second week in January, but you played your first district game on November 28th. And so, that's really tough. And you didn't really have a lot of time. I mean, that was the third game coming out and you play a district game. So it's a much different animal, isn't it?
Yeah. And we knew those 4 games that we had before our football guys were there. We knew those games were going to be tough games. We knew that it was part of the scheduling process. Of course, I'm going to try to change that next year and try to figure out why we're playing so early in the season, because it doesn't make sense for schools our size who share athletes to be playing games before the football championships are over, or even 3 days after the semifinals. And I know it doesn't affect every school, and it doesn't affect every school every year, but there were some teams that we played that either don't have football or weren't very good at football and ended their season either didn't make the playoffs or were eliminated in the first week of the playoffs. So, but here's the good news of this. I mean, looking at it long term, we got some some younger guys got exposure and got some coaching and some got experience that they wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So, thinking long term, thinking big picture things, this is great for them. And whether it's this year that those guys end up playing some minutes for us or not, they will have experienced that, and they understand the speed of the game that you can't get from a summer experience or a practice experience, those type of things. So it is what it is. And like I said, it's a tournament game, and we're all just playing for seeds right now in the tournament. And then you get the right kind of matchup. All you got to do is win on the right kind of nights. And so that's just continuing to get better and improve, and to be able to work together, make shots, and get a good shot, get a good shot, and then work to stop the team on the other end. Basketball is really, really a simple game, but it's a human game. It's a human game that requires a lot of adjustments. It's not chess where the king and the queen and the rook have to do exactly what they're told. These are humans, and so blending them together, that's the challenge, that's the joy that you find, and people working together. And so it's what makes sports so much fun, and trying to build a team and seeing a team come together. So I'm excited about where we're at. I'm excited about where we're going to be. And, if you do this long enough, you kind of can see, okay, if we just keep doing this, I promise you it'll get better. It'll get better over time. And so it's just a matter of waking up every morning after a long night and staying positive and trying to figure out what did we do wrong? How do we get, what do we do right? How can we continue to do what's right? And that's what coaching is if something works, you do it again. And if it doesn't work, you try something else. And until you figure it out. Nobody has all the answers, and nobody knows the magic formula, but it's a process of, I do know this, you got to be physically tough, and you got to be mentally tough, and you got to have focus on what you're doing if you're going to be successful in running a radio station, or successful in coaching a team, or successful in whatever business that you have. You have to stay focused on the fundamentals, and you have to stay focused on working together, and you have to stay focused on trying to improve every single day. Because, as we talked about, we started the conversation off, Christmas shopping is way different now than it was a long time ago. I'm not going to King Sloan and over at the mall and look, buying things there for people. Probably going to get online and have Amazon bring it to my front door. So it's all an evolving process of how do we figure out how to be successful and win.
Yeah, very much. Hey, Greg, one more thing, and kind of on that, when we came out to do the games with BGA on December the 8th, and every time we come on campus, there's something new. And of course, just opened up, the new wing, and that looks beautiful. And the new sign just really pops right there as soon as you come into the gym. So that's really awesome. But you walk into the gym and you've got these new great scoreboards and video cams and and flex cams and all this kind of stuff, and I mean it just adds to the environment. But there always seems to be something new, and that really starts higher up with President Tiller and right on down to Dr. Sane and Jason Piercy, as much as I hate to give him any credit. But yeah.
I think Coach Piercy probably deserves a little bit of credit.
Yeah, I'd say so. But I mean, all of that's great stuff.
Yeah, Kelly Mullins and Tyler Lamb, and Troy Berry, who's also our volleyball coach. Those people have worked a lot of hours on those video boards. And I don't remember the BG. We had a Christmas game and we had Santa Claus there, and they were doing a live cam, and supposedly they did an ugly sweater contest and just a lot of fun atmosphere. I mean, and that's one thing my wife has also commented on is that our game day operations are just fantastic. Troy Berry is a great announcer and has great timing. It's a lot of fun. And so, the new scoreboards and video boards that we use, we use those in our chapels or use those in our celebration for our football teams, and those type of things just can be used as giant video boards, and it just continues to add the atmosphere. And there's a lot of great things happening in MTCS. I mean, we have kids applying all the time. We have waiting lists there's a lot of interest in people coming to MTCS because there's a lot of good things happening, and get a great education with in a Christian atmosphere. And so there's a good thing that 3 gyms are used all the time with various teams and young teams. And we've also got the James C. Held tournament coming up, which Coach Piercy has taken that. And I know it's established, been around for a long, long time, but Coach Piercy's taken it to a completely different level. And so James C. Held will be starting in January, and there'll be games after we finish practicing almost every day, and all day Saturday and MLK Day. And so there'll be a lot of people on campus for that tournament. So it's good. Yeah, it's great, and we're grateful to have a couple of weeks off without classes. And but it's our classes rooms are full, and but there's still room for always a few more kids. So it's a great place to come and be part of our community.
Well, Greg, appreciate your time this morning, and hope you get a little bit of rest before the game tonight, and do appreciate you joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, and hope you and your family and everybody at MTCS has a wonderful Christmas.
Thank you very much. We're going to go watch some film, and you have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Greg Eubanks joining us talking MTCS boys basketball. Going to wrap up MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by TOA, in just a moment.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
We're going to be an educational institution that teach Bible every day. Every subject we teach, we're going to teach through a biblical perspective. In every aspect of our school, we're going to do it through a Christian perspective.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
That also means that everything we do, we have to be excellent. We feel like Christ calls us to excellence. And so that means we have to be excellent academically. That means we have to be excellent athletically, because that's what God calls us to. It's a great place to be.
Invest in your child's future in an environment that fosters Christ-centered values. To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
It's MTCS Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
We're back here on MTCS Cougar Corner to wrap things up. A couple of scores. One from girls action versus Nashville Christian, 56-50 loss to Nashville Christian earlier in the week for the MTCS girls. AC Shirley had 26 in the loss, narrow loss to Nashville Christian. And we mentioned the MTCS boys win over Nashville Christian, 60-52, 60-52. Make sure it didn't sound like 62-52. All right. So last night, MTCS girls fall to Jackson Christian 68-60, and a close one at Freed Hardeman, as well as the 73-52 loss for the guys there. But great experience going to Freed Hardeman and being there on their campus. And Coach mentioned getting to do some tours and things. So that was pretty awesome as well. So what is coming up? Well, Franklin Road Academy, of course, today. Varsity girls at 4 and boys at 5:30. Okay, so and they play a little JV about 2:30 or so. On Monday, you got middle school JV game versus versus Grace Christian Academy. That's on the road, and middle school will be at Pope John Paul II. Then also at MTCS, you've got a JV game as well with the boys. Middle school game at 6 o'clock at Grace Christian, and the boys at Pope Prep. So just kind of keep all of that in mind. So a lot going on Monday. And then Tuesday, the Cougar Cubs at the Miller Gym, girls and boys going on. Got varsity game for girls at Knoxville Webb on Thursday as well. And they're playing there Thursday and Friday before the Christmas break. So that's a brief look at the schedule. A reminder, you can find out more on that at mtcssports.com, a great resource for you for all MTCS sports. Well, friends, that is going to wrap us up here this morning on all of our coaches' conversation. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner and MTCS Cougar Corner. I want to thank all of the coaches for joining us this morning, and for John Dinkins and Danny Brewer helping to host the program this morning, and Dalton Barrett, our producer. Also want to thank our friends at Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro for all the food here this morning to help feed the coaches and all of us to make it a very pleasurable morning. Just a program reminder, we will not have a coaches show the next 2 weeks. So with Christmas and New Year holidays coming in the next couple of weeks, we'll take a couple of weeks off. Our next coaches show will be on January the 6th, and we'll have Coach Hannah Jones joining us on that MTCS Cougar Corner. So be sure to tune in for that, and a lot to catch up on with her and the Lady Cougars. Well, that's going to wrap us up here this morning. Do want to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas. Thanks for making the Coaches Show here on WGNS a part of your Saturday. And a reminder, if you missed some of the interviews, you can go to WGNSsports.com, tap on the podcast button there, and you'll be able to listen back to all of the coaches. And if you give us a follow at WGNS Sports Radio on X, formerly known as Twitter, you'll be able to keep up with everything right there. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Merry Christmas. So long until the next time we meet right here on The Coaches Show.
June, the Titan submersible, the implosion there near the Titanic wreckage.
And to go back